Hello and welcome back to the Blobber Plays. Cat Detective Albert Wilde, Quantum PI. We are in a speakeasy hidden in a bookstore. Yeah, so unprofessional, Finboy. Very unprofessional. Almost like it's a hobby, not a profession. You hear that, tax man? Hobby. Okay, we always like this bookstore.
Welcoming.
I say, old chap, what are you doing here? Weren't you kicked out of the back room? Can't a cat look for some reading material? Of course. Given your track record, I recommend guides on DIY repair and legal defense. Either way, suit yourself. What happens in the back room doesn't concern me. Well, unless it has to do with how many copies of The Invisible Monkey we have back there. If you want to get in, talk to Sergey. But I'm afraid you may not get far with him without the new password. Or an abject apology. Hello, who are you? Ugh, Animal Farm was so disappointing. Who wants to read a treatise on proper techniques for running a farm? Can I help you? So, tell me more about the bookstore. How's business? The business of selling books, not the other business. Well, we're going about as well as an independent bookstore can do in this economy, which is to say terribly. Luckily, the other business is doing quite well, thank you very much. They pay me a cut to stand out here surrounded by books, and I'm not fussed. All this business has to do is present a respectable front. So it's fair to say that the front cover is a cover for the back cover? Of course, dear boy. Don't you know how books work? Oh, you meant the other thing. Yes, that too. So about getting into the speakeasy. So if a very contrite and currently sober former patron wanted to get into the back rooms, wink wink, how would he go about it? Well, first he'd be slightly less obvious about the surreptitious winking. But as you know, he would also need the password. The current password, not the one from last week. What's the new one? And I wouldn't have to do anything else, like make an apology or pay for dry cleaning. A password is a password. If you know it, you get to go in. What else would a password do? Well, that sounds like someone who doesn't know how passwords work. So I figured a smart, educated, worldly animal like you has got to have figured out the new password. I didn't have to, they told me. Well, then that makes it extra easy. What is it? Sorry, old chap, I'd tell you except for the bit about where they told me that you're the last animal in the world where I'm allowed to tell it to. Pff, yeah, right. Like I'd be the last animal to tell, next to all the cops working here. You are literally on the lower on the list than them. Yes. I just wanted to apologize for the incident that happened. Well, it's no skin off my nose. If anything, you helped out my end of the business. I sold a lot of how to get stains out of fabric and body disposal methods books. I said I was sorry. Did you? I heard you were drunk and yelling very insalubrious things about the customer's mother. The old dame deserved it. She throws a mean right hook. So Sergey, he's the new bouncer? I mean, totally legitimate stock... shelf stocker, correct? That's right. I wouldn't try my luck with him, though. I saw what happened to the last person who tried to get in without a password. What happened to them? They were very firmly turned away. How ghastly. If only they'd greased their paws a little. How would greasy paws help? Do you have to wrestle him or something? No, I mean... Well, you didn't hear it from me, but the fine folk in the back are paying poor. Petrifying Sergey in pennies from a seat cushion. It's not a nice seat cushion either. But he doesn't complain. He just has been known to get conveniently distracted when someone gives his money, food, clothing, pretty much anything. Do you have any book recommendations? You can read? Yes, I read a lot. Mostly my parking tickets. Well, old chap, given your limited tastes, perhaps something classic will expand your palate. Perhaps Of Mice and More Mice? Ooh, is that a cookbook? Oh, my dear chap, it's a tragic tale of the animal condition and how society crushes the dreams of the lower class. Okay, but they eat them at the end, right? I'm just saying the title alone is making my mouth water. And then, looks like we can't ask him anything else. So where is this Sergey? Oh, and he's a bear. I was imagining a tiger for some reason. Cat. Apologize. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for what happened. That time, and I've learnt my lesson. No more licking spilt bourbon from the floor. Are we good? Niet. Okay. Can I at least go in and express my apologies directly to the bartender? Niet. How am I supposed to say I'm sorry then? You won't. Can we bribe him? Let's forget all this password nonsense. Could I, give you something as thanks? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Knowing looks, telling glances. Know what I mean, say no more, say no more. Sergey will accept money. You and me both, buddy. But I'm afraid I have a temporary case of brokenness. Then I will accept an item in trade that could be sold for money. Like what? A kidney would be acceptable. Whoa, 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 let's not get too hasty. I could give you the collar. A collar? Not just any collar. A stylish designer collar made of authentic material. As you can smell, it carries its own unique fragrance, a singular collector's item. I'll assume the fact that you're not shoving it in your pocket, like a discarded candy wrapper, means that you accept my gift? So I can go in? No. What? But I bribed you. I gave you a gift and everything. You give Sergey a gift that Sergey would need to pay sucker to take off paws. I not owe you anything. Fine, keep it. It's not like I want it for an incredibly genius plan involving teleportation or anything. Not that I want it for anything. And what about small talk? Bear? Been working here long? It's a cool bookstore. I've known the owner a while. My name is I Know Who You Are. And you aren't getting in while I stand watch. Not without password. What about with it? Then you are getting in whilst I watch. But I give you a very intimidating and judgmental glare while you pass. Okay. Now, can we teleport now that we've given him the teleportation collar? So, back to the clock shop. Then the teleporter.
Time to see where the bouncer put my collar. Surely somewhere safe as befits a valuable bribe. Gift. Either I end up in the bar itself, or somewhere where I can listen for the passwords. Either way, I'm gonna be sitting pretty.
Alright, and we teleporto. He put it in the trash!
What am I doing out here in the garbage? I was supposed to teleport to where the collar was. So surely I should be in the back of the bar, or the bouncer's wallet. A safe, heck. Maybe a nice little shadow box frame on the wall for displaying it. Wait, did that guy throw away the perfectly nice collar I flagrantly bribed him with? Just another sign of how rotten this city is. A place where flagrant bribes aren't treated with the respect they deserve.
What terrible times he lives in.
Speaking of which, I guess I should pick my flagrant bribe up, huh?
But this is a new location.
smells like my flagrant bribe has become a fragrant bribe. Wait. No, that's just me. Dang. And I thought I'd come up with a real zinger there. Someone's coming. Quick. Hide.
Pair of ducks? Sorry about this, sweetie. I was worried about you. What happened? How did you get so drunk? It was the funniest story. Oh, they're really drunk. I was looking for that book I told you about. I asked the nice bear if they had a copy of A Mandrill for All Seasons in the back. He said they did, but when he let me back there, they didn't have it. You know what they did have, though? Lots of booze. Why did you drink it? Well, I didn't want to be rude. Never mind. Let's just get you home.
A mandrill for all seasons. The key I need to get where I'm going. All thanks to my feline sense of stealth.
Oh, by the way, who was the weird cat standing in the alley watching us? Him? Probably just a garbage collector.
Like the night.
The password. Achievement unlocked. Learn the back cover password. Okay, can we teleport? Oh, do we use the door now? Yes. And then we can go talk to Sergey. We can go say, I know the password is a mandrill for all seasons. Alright, if cat have password, cat can go in. It's that easy. Sergey's orders are clear. Only let in animal with password. Cat have password. Now not bother Sergey.
They say not to judge a book by its cover. And the back cover is no different. It might look classy, dignified, welcoming.
But visit the back cover. Achievement unlocked. Nope, not you. Get out, get out, get out.
But that unassuming back cover blurb hides a lurid tale of greed, crime, lies, and scandal. The kind of story where...
God damn it, is he monologuing again? No monologuing here. That's how everything went to hell last time. Fine, I'll stop. Don't worry, I'm on my best behavior. I don't care if you're kissing an angel's left butt cheek. What part of banned for life didn't you understand? You can't keep me out, and why not? 'Cause I know the password. Damn you to hell. I guess my hooves are tied. Fine, you can stay, but no funny business. Look, if this is about my unfortunate attempt at a comedy act, no funny business. And for God's sake, have a bath. You stink of garbage. Yeah, I guess I could give myself a tongue bath. You know what? I'd rather tolerate the stink. Scales. Well, if it ain't the cat who came sniffing round our base. You gave me one hell of a shiner, you know. You look so good. I can't even see the black eye. It's because of my scaly complexion. Anyway, either you're real brave or real stupid. I'd say brave, but I'm outvoted unanimously by everyone else. Well, either way, you've got guts. No hard feelings. I don't know, the bump on my head you gave me was pretty hard. Hey, it was business. I'm here on pleasure. I got no beef with you. Mostly because neither of us are cows. You let me drink till I get a headache of my own and we've got no problems. Where's the boss? Where's Manny Malone? Where can I find him? You can't. He's dead? Gosh, I knew I shouldn't have left him trapped inside that upside-down glass. No, one of our boys found him and let him loose after you left. He's fine, just very angry at you. So what, you're going to beat me up again? Rip the collar I stole from my paws? Send me to the bottom of the river? Pfft, me? I'm not doing any of that. Like I said, I'm here to relax and I'm off the clock. I ain't doing no crocodile tears business while I've got a drink in my claw. But that also means I ain't playing secretary to you for meetings with our boss. And I ain't telling you where our new HQ is. You ain't going there and you ain't seeing the mantis. But trust me, given how annoyed he is, you don't want to see him again. Could you leave, please, or do you have trouble from rival gangs? Hey, Scales, did you hear? It sounds like the crocodile tears are having some trouble with the other gangs. They might need your help. What do you know about the other gangs? I'm surprised you know about us. Well, I know that. The sharks in shirts swim again. The hairy eights are flinging crap. The rabbit rodents are rabid. No, I think it was the sharks in shirts. There's blood in the water, and the sharks in shirts are on the prowl. They are? Yup. You know their boss. Dolphins can be real jerks. You're saying Dom the Dolphin is involved? The terror of 10th Street? That's the one. Stuff's going down right now. You should believe me, because I know all these names and places and stuff. I better head back and see what's going up. The boss will probably need my help. Yeah, you should go. It might really help balance the scales. Get it? Scales? Because your name is... And you're, you know what? I'm going to shut up now before you eat me. That's the smartest thing you've ever said or done. I'm off. Tell the barkeep to put my drink on your tab. I will. Wait, what? And he exited with effortless cool.
Man, I hope he gets gingivitis and cavities someday. That'll learn him.
Okay, next. Ooh, it's our bookie. You, Rudy, good to see you. What are you doing here? At the secret speakeasy that no one knows about. You were the one who told me about it months ago. Oh yeah, and that was why I got kicked out the other time. Anyway, what are you doing here? Don't you have to mind your kiosk? How many jackasses, donkeys and mules do you think need to check the newspaper at this time of night? Besides, Jimmy holds down the fort. I've earned a drink for my troubles. You have troubles? I do, like getting you to pay me back the money you owe me. Oh, right. Well, about that, if you're about to launch into a sob story about how the gig you had lined up isn't going to pay, I cannot express how little I want to hear it. Good to know. I definitely wasn't about to do that. No siree. Good. The only words I want to hear from your mouth are, I have your money. Got it? What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Well, yes, considering I'm a cat, who literally has my tongue. But you said not to say anything except, I've got your money, so I couldn't reply. Ugh. Just leave before I decide to relieve my headache with some horn-related violence. Okay, who else is here? Francois! Oh, so you did make it to the super-secret speakeasy that nobody's supposed to know about. I'm surprised. Well, I am a detective. I know all sorts of things that I'm not supposed to. Is that to make up for not knowing all the things everyone is supposed to know? More or less, speaking of which. If you're a regular, how did you not put two and two together and realize what it was you smelt at the crime scene? Do I look like the kind of bird that goes up to everyone in a bar and sniffs them? I have other, more important things to do with my time. Huh. Didn't you chase me out of your apartment saying you had somewhere important to be, and yet now you're here? Sweetie, after the week I've had, this is somewhere important to be. Besides, all your questions about the drinks and things got me thirsty. Glad to know the mysterious death of a cat has provided an excuse, an inspiration, to come here and get drunk. I don't want to sip a latte? No. It's a smooth grace with sugar. No reason to let a little death in detective work ruin a perfectly good evening. Okay, so he's useless. What about the barkeep? What do you want? I want to talk about the incident. So about what happened earlier that triggered my completely unfair removal and ban from the premises. If you're going to end that sentence with anything but an apology, you might want to rethink it. Would an apology help? No, but it's the only thing that won't make things worse. I'm sorry. For everything except for calling the lady's mother a hamster. She deserved that pie to the face. Well, it turns out I was wrong. The apology actually did make things worse. What about familiar faces? There are lots of familiar faces. What did you expect? It's a speakeasy. We got regulars. Regulars that happen to all be animals I know or who are relevant to the case that I'm investigating. I pride myself on running a convenient watering hole. It is. It's very different, boss. Which is good. I would prefer different and doesn't quite hit the mark to somewhat competent generic first-person shooter number 5674. So this is when I ask you questions about each of them and get all the gossip straight from the stripy horse's mouth. Zebras aren't just stripy horses, and that stereotype has held us back for a long time. Secondly, you've got some weird ideas about how bartenders work. Since when are we supposed to know everything about everyone? Since always? Like I said, weird ideas. But there's one familiar face that I don't see. Ask about her. Where is she? It's hitting the weird parts? Could you be a little more specific? I run a gender-diverse establishment here. Oh, for who else would I be asking about? Well, you're the one trying to be deliberately mysterious. Elma. I'm talking about Elma. Is she here tonight? I would hope so, considering she works here. She's due to go on stage any minute.
She is Miss Elma Gautier. Trouble. The kind of trouble that wears a colorful dress. Though, you'll have to take my word on it. What with that black and white filter. She's a sheep. A seducer. A siren.
I wasn't expecting the sheep singing.
Not a good siren, mind you. I
Holy
don't
moly.
In this world, you do what you can to survive. And Elma, she's a survivor.
He goes on
if it
living?
means getting her wool dirty with some questionable activities.
I should have known better than to shack up with a beast. Now my pride is all in tatters. And my bank account was fleeced.
Speaking of questionable activities, I hope this song finishes soon.
That's why, my dear, I'm telling you, you've been bad news to me. Got to wash you out of my wool. Thank you, thank you. If you want a tip, you know where to find me. At the bar. Does that mean that she's now here? Yes. New person, talk. Elma Gautier, good to see you. And to hear you again. Well, 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 look who the cat dragged in. I'm not even certain how that would work. Grabbing my own collar, or... Oh well, it's good to see some things never change. Whew, except maybe your cologne. Were you rolling in trash? Something like that. I could give myself a tongue bath now if it's a problem. No, I like a cat that's not afraid to get dirty. Speaking of which, I didn't think I'd see you here ever again after what you pulled last time. I can be very persuasive when I put my mind to it. How's the bar life been treating you, dear? Same old, same old. Bad tips. Lousy front of house, terrible paper show, barely making rent. The usual. It's a bad scene. And how are you getting by? The usual? Well, you know me, darling. A lady's got to do what she's got to do to get by. Even if it means a little under the table here and there.
Under the table is an understatement. Try 10 floors down. In the basement. No. In the sewers. Let's just say our first meeting was when she picked my pocket. Joke was on her. My wallet was empty. Like it always is. Like I said, Elma Gautier is a survivor.
He keeps on
And in this
living.
town, there are plenty of opportunities for a survivor too.
Ah, sweetie, you're monologuing again. Remember, inside voice, outside voice. Alright, well, glad to know you've still got friends in low places. Oh yes, a you like me always relies on generous friends. Even the ones who just throw in a little into the cookie jar if you catch my drift. What are we talking about? I'm trying to hint you should buy me a drink, you clueless cheapskate. All right. That was part of my plan. Sounds great. Bartender, could I order a friend for my drink? Do we get her a tequila mockingbird, a Moscow mule, a salty dog, or a pineapple regret? How could we not go with regret? A house special, one pineapple regret. I'm no lady, but I'd never turn down my favorite drink. Tastes like regret and pineapple. I can't get enough of these. I know, your wool smells of them all the time. Big talk from a brave boy who stinks of back alley garbage, sweetie. At least I smell of something distantly related to a fruit. So, given that, mind explaining why I've got a collar from one of my cases that reeks of pineapple regret? What are you implying, that I was the one that stole it? Why would I steal a collar? How did you know it was a collar? 'Cause you just said it was. Oh, whoops, damn. I thought that detective trick would work. But, how do you explain the smell of your favorite drink? You're probably just mistaken. The sewers has probably just screwed up your sense of smell. Wait, damn. You didn't mention it was in the sewers, did you? You cunning bastard. You've outplayed me with the collar trick just to set me up for another trap. I did? Yes, I did. Completely intentional. What is this game? Yeah, Cat Detective Albert Wilde. We played the demo a while back, and it's a little bit gritty in parts. A bit too gritty for me in parts, but otherwise I liked it. Me, play dumb. Shall we try this again? I didn't kill that cat, if that's what you're wondering. It's a start. Let's see what else you can tell me. Yeah, it finally came into full release like a day or so ago. So, start at the scene of the crime. You were there when the weird cat died. Not exactly, it was already dead when I got there. It was a bad scene. I was in the neighborhood on my way home from work, minding my own business when I heard a loud crack. I probably should have let sleeping dogs lie, but I figured it was worth checking out. I got to the warehouse and I saw a cat, a hole. Yes, I did see the cat, but I was more focused on what was on the cat. You mean the collar? Yes, it caught my eye. Like you said, the cat was there too. So I ran in to check on him, but he was gone. I swear on my life he was already stone cold dead. If he wasn't, I would have helped. But since he was... What? You ripped the collar off his freshly dead body? I didn't rip it off. I unbuckled it carefully. That's why I was there long enough to be interrupted. Telling the truth? You say the cat was already dead, but how do I know you're telling the truth? How do I know this is what actually happened? Yeah, it is neat. It's weird, and it's got some rough edges, but it's interesting. What, I'm not trustworthy? Why wouldn't you trust little old me? We could start with the fact that you seem to be rubbing haunches with the animals of the bad scene, as you call it. Or in fact, that you willingly admitted to stealing from a corpse in order to score some cash, but mostly because you're a singer in a smoky jazz bar. That means you're always up to no good. Oh yes, that. You can't blame me for doubting you. It doesn't look good, but... all I'm really guilty of is being too poor and too fussy about where I get my dough. I'm not bad. I'm just a black sheep of sorts. In that case, mind telling me the whole truth? There's clearly something bigger going on when you're not giving all the info. Well, a girl's got to have some secrets, especially when they might get her in trouble with the wrong crowd. Let's just say if you ask the right questions, I could tell you more about what I know. Whether you trust it, though, is up to you. So, I take it you noticed the cat looked weird? That's an understatement. Like I said, it was a bad scene. Have you ever seen a cat like that before? No, but I'd heard about... What did you hear? I can't tell you. Why not? Where did you hear it? Whatever it is that you can't tell me about it. I can't tell you that either. Oh, good lord, I'm getting a headache about what you can and can't tell me. I can tell you that the cat was dead when I got there, but not for very long. He was still warm. I thought you said it was stone cold dead. Figure of speech, darling. Anything else that you can tell me? Only that I have no idea why he looked like that, and that I'd never seen him before in my life. Except, he did look like you. If you were short, had 4 legs, and were a freak of nature. And yet you didn't hesitate to steal from me, or him. Well, actually it made me more eager. I'm not gonna lie. I love treating you bad, darling. What about case 4666? I found something interesting in the police archives. Case 4666, ring a bell? Considering that it involves a mysterious cat, a hole, and 3 very interesting individuals, I figured it might. Tell me, do the names Don the Dolphin, Orangutan, and Minky the Mink Jones mean anything to you? Fine, I know them, or I know of them. They were the buyers I was hoping to sell the collar to. But they're all gang leaders, aren't they? Between them, they're the heads of this city's criminal underworld? Yep, you get it. And now you know why I wasn't in a hurry to chat about it with a goon sitting nearby. Ah, so this is, we would have had to have gotten rid of the crocodile alligator guy if we hadn't already, but we've done things a bit out of sequence accidentally. But yeah, the whole underbelly of this town is in one hell of a state. The heads of the gangs are looking for those collars, and they're willing to pay top dollar to anyone who brings them to them. Collars? As in plural? Oh, honey, you passed elementary grade grammar. No sass, I'm proud of you. But yes, that is how plurals work. So, the one from this case and the one from case 4666... Whatever this is, it's happened twice? Oh, you sweet, stupid sex on legs. More like the police have only caught it twice. It's happened way, way more than that. What actually happened? You say that it has happened more than once, but what is it? I don't know the details, but from what I gather, they involve some sort of weird cat appearing from nowhere in random parts of the city. I didn't think I took any cases like this before. Not you, more like dead cats. Small, weird legs. I don't know if all of them died, though. I heard some of them were alive and just went missing afterwards. Bad scene, I say. All of them blew some kind of hole in the ceiling or building when they showed up. Most of them had some sort of collar on as well, and the collars are what's got everyone riled up. That's why the gangs are on the lookout for any random cats showing up. And why there's big bucks to be made if you can bring them. And hence why you went for it. I think I'm getting it for once. Wow, 2 whole times the police managed to do their job? Don't be too impressed. It was pure luck both times that they stumbled on the cat before anyone else did. And well, both times, there were some strings being pulled to bury the case, if you catch my drift. Catching anyone's drift is against my religion, thanks. And what do strings have to do with anything? I mean, they're fun to play around and bat, but payoffs, sweetie. The gang have their fingers, paws, hooves, and claws in the police pie. One of them made your case go away so that no one poked too deep. Poking too deeply is my speciality. It's what stopped me from becoming a dentist. And a proctologist. You like how it's very different, isn't it, Decoy? It gets points for originality. Thanks for that. Bad image. So, what have the gangs been doing exactly? Besides paying off the cops, you mean? They've been keeping their ears to the ground, listening out for word of any of those weird cats showing up. They're not the ones behind bringing the cats in the first place? No idea, but they do seem to have a good sense of when to be on alert. Not just where. Either way, they get wind... When they get wind of another one, whoever runs the territory swoops in and clears everything out before the cops notice. Unless, say, a plucky girl sneaks in to grab the goods. And how did that go for you? Pretty bad. But you can't blame me for trying. The gangs might have a understanding about respecting turf, but that won't stop them from trying to get a leg up on each other. Or several legs, really. This is nightmarish. So when they clear everything out, does that mean the cat too? Are they putting the kitties in concrete muffin makers? No idea. They take the cats with them. No one's seen any of them since. So yeah, it's a bad scene even for me. But I get the feeling that they're just tying up the loose ends. It's not the cats that they're interested in, it's the collars. They fight tooth and nail over them. Makes me think there might be a separate buyer that they're all competing for. What I don't understand is, what's so special about the collars? I can't imagine why so many are trying to get their hands on them. Wow, for once something I know that you don't. So how long has this been going on with the cats and the collars and so forth? A month, darling. It's been a bad scene for a while. How has no one besides your shady friend picked up on anything? Surely I'd have noticed something after this long. You don't even notice when you have kitty litter on your butt. I don't think you're an expert on what does and doesn't draw attention. Besides, my shady friends like to keep things on the down low. And they're good at what they do. So, then I guess the question is, if this has happened more than twice, how many times? A lot? 3? 4? Single digits? Try the double digits, and those are just the ones that I've heard about. Yeah, he doesn't notice when he's got kitty litter on his butt. It's meant to be the analogy to the you don't notice that you've got toilet paper sticking out your pants. It might even be in the triple digits. My God, that's bad. I don't know if I could count that high. I only have 18 toe pads. Math isn't my strong suit. I didn't think you had any strong suits. Although the suit you're wearing is also pretty bad. If you're telling me that for the past few months, countless cats have been appearing in town through giant holes in roofs, only for underworld gangs to show up and snatch them in their collars... More or less, like I keep saying, it's a bad scene. Yeah. You're not wrong, though. Those poor cats, so noble, so adorable, so misunderstood. Are you talking about the missing cats or yourself? Remember, most of the cats were very, very weird, which does apply to you now that I think about it. Seems like this kitty case is just the tip of the iceberg, and not a penguin in sight to help. Thanks, Elma. This will help my investigation. I'm not entirely sure how, but I'm sure that it will come up eventually. Well, that makes risking my life blabbing criminal secrets worth it, if you might sorta find it useful. Oh yeah, are you going to be okay? Between that and the whole trying to snatch a collar from under Manny's nose, I imagine they might be a little bit annoyed at you. Serves them right for not paying me what I'm worth. Besides, I've had a pineapple regret, and that means I've got to do some things that I regret. Don't worry about me, doll. My wool might get dirty, but I know a good dry cleaner. And I always make the best of a bad scene. The collar is more valuable than you realize. There's lots of demand. I know it looks like a scrap of fabric, but I actually know why folks want them. You do? Well, you know something that I don't, which isn't a sentence I thought that I'd ever say. All I know through the grapevine is that there are lots of them, and that there are parties interested in getting their hands on them. Why am I never invited to parties like that? Did they have live actors? I assume they're just rigged models. I don't think this is mocap. Trust me. These are bad parties that you don't want any part of. What does this have to do with... Oh, you're talking about crime and stuff. Yes, please, shout it out loud in the middle of the bar, which is also technically a crime, in earshot of a mook who's part of an organised crime racket. Turns out some folks out there want that collar bad, and whoever's interested is willing to pay handsomely for them. And well, I like handsome things, sweetie. That's why I put up with your pretty empty head. You say you saw the body, the collar. What about the hole? Yeah, there was a hole in the ceiling. I've never seen a sheep lady before. I'm not sure what else you want me to say, sugar. Did you notice anything odd about the hole? Maybe signs of explosives or a fire? I was more focused on the dead body. Bad scene, you know. But now that you mention it, I didn't see or smell anything like that, and I would have noticed smoke. It's hell to get out of wool, you know. Compared to pineapple regret and eau de sewage? Fair point. But still, I don't think holes like that are caused by that kind of explosion. At least not this time. Holes like that, getting interrupted. So what happened? You said you were interrupted by a very high-pitched shriek. Turns out some feathery flamingo stumbled on me in the body. I panicked and the bird brain was blocking the only door out, so I ran the only other way I could think of. Into the sewers. You weren't trying to meet up with anyone there? Say a certain green insect and his equally green goons? If you mean Manny the Mantis and the crocodile tears. Far from it. I was hoping to sneak off their turf without them noticing me. They found me after about 10 minutes. My horrified and disgusted shrieking gave me away. You were shrieking? What was there to shriek about? Darling, do I look like the kind of you who enjoys bathing in sewage? I had to shampoo my wool for hours to get the stench out. It was a bad scene. All right, but you just grabbed the collar to sell it for money. Why not sell it to Manny? Oh, he made me an offer. It's just the kind of offer. Involved 10 very intimidating crocodiles and a pointed reminder that the loot was on his turf. So you had to surrender the collar and run home empty-hoofed? This time. It was too bad. This time? You know, the pineapple regret is really nice. You should try it. The ashtray flavor isn't bad. What about this time? You make it sound like you've done it before. Do I now? You certainly don't seem surprised by what happened. That's just my sang-froid, my dear. I'm not sure what Sam Lloyd has to do with this. Is he a suspect? Did he do this before? You're lucky you're cute, or I'd be real put out by you right now. Has it happened before or not? It has. I don't know how many times, but enough that it's almost a regular thing. Who are you going to sell the collar to before Manny the Mantis put up his winning bid? Whoever ended up being the highest bidder. You really don't understand how money works, do you? I understand that it means that there were lots of interested buyers who were willing to compete with each other. That would be a smart deduction for you. Save for the bit where I already told you that a few minutes ago. And you expect me to pay attention to everything you say? And what about these buyers? Do any of them have names? Not the sorts I'd feel comfortable yelling in the middle of a bar. What do you mean? Is it something that's probably illegal in the middle of an illegal bar filled with illegal... Oh, I get it now. You get it? Iminal cray de world underday ufstay. Criminal underworld stuff. Sorry, babe, I don't speak French. So if that's your plan for avoiding the criminal underworld listening, we'll have to do something else. Like I said, all sorts of buyers I had in mind with the kind of cash I had in mind. Aren't the sort who'd like me yelling their name in public. A bad scene, you know. I might feel more comfortable talking about them if you started yelling their names in public. Ah, because no one knows to suspect me, or because I'd be safer if I did it? More like I'd rather you're the one getting your kneecaps whacked than me. So, to sum up, you were a bystander to the death or disappearance of whatever this crazy mystery cat corpse is. Correct. You were short on cash and heard the collar was valuable on the black market, so you grabbed it with the idea of selling it for a quick buck. More or less. But Manny's goons caught you before you could leave the area, shook you down and took the collar for themselves. Look at you, rubbing your 2 brain cells together. I'm impressed. 3, actually. I'm proud. And the 3rd one is still stuck on who wanted this collar. Why and how you knew about it. All perfectly good questions, my little himbo hairball. Perhaps you should go see if you can dig up some answers before asking me about them. That's all for now, Elmer. Don't go far. I might have other questions. Where else would I be but here, sugar? Good lord, that was, I think, the longest dialogue tree we've had. Apparently recently there was a cat who caused quite a bit of property damage. Ouch. And you? I can try small talk. How's business lately? Better now that we've finished payments for repairs. Do you know how rainy it is in the city and how many holes you left in the roof? Did I mention how sorry I am? I'm sorry. Really, really sorry. To be fair, it did end up being a great feature for marketing. Rustic skylights and all that. We even came up with a commemorative cocktail. Named it after you and everything. You're saying I inspired my own special cocktail? What an honor. The Flaming Dumpster Fire is one of our best sellers. Speaking of dumpsters, you smell like you've been rolling around in one. I'd ask what you're doing, but I'm afraid to know. I'll have a gin on the rocks, sandstone, not granite. Shaken, then stirred, then shaken again, left out for 5.3 minutes, before one final shake and combined with a whole lemon, a paper umbrella, and a tub full of moonshine still from the tub. You'll get water, and that's all. Water? What kind of speakeasy is this? The kind that doesn't want a repeat of your previous incident. And the $15,000 in property damage. But I'm a paying customer, and I want my drink. Okay, do you want to pay for the property damage? The water's fine. Maybe you could use that to wash off some of the stench. So, could I borrow your phone? I need to make a phone call. To your lawyer? First smart thing you've done. No, I need to get a lift. From your mummy? No. There's nothing maternal about it. Now just shove the booster seat out of the way and mind the slobber on the pacifier. Oh, the joys of being a mother. Thanks, Deborah. I appreciate you giving me the lift. Again. Don't mention it. I figure these are all billable hours, so a few more of these rides should put at least 2 more of my kids through college. You're billing me for this? I thought you were doing it because you like me. I do. I like you because I get to bill you. A lot. You know what? I'll take it. Because right now I need all the friends I can get. I need to ask you something. Something important. Do you mind if I give myself a tongue bath? I'm in desperate need of one. Good gosh, yes you are. Go right ahead. The back seat's covered in drool from the kids anyway.
Fantastic. Now to see if I've got enough room to start licking my own crotch.
And this takes us to the owl? But why? Yeah. I've still got the collar, so the owl place isn't useful. Maybe I meant to talk to the owl? No. Maybe we're meant to ask Officer Betty? It's a very British game? I don't know, the police department seems fairly... The way that they're presenting police doesn't seem British to me. Boss. You're still here? Okay, nope, Betty doesn't have anything for me. We'll check out the crime scene again. You got anything new? No, Mr. Hippo does not. Neither does in here. Okay, what about Mrs. G? Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment, Baron. It's meant to be 20s prohibition. I also agree with Finboy. Ah, detective. Have you found any leads on what is troubling my dear husband? Let me know if I can help. How do I get rid of her? What can I do for you? Tell me about yourself. I'd like to know more about the lady behind the wallet. I mean, behind the case. Tell me about yourself. What do you want to know? What do you do? How do you spend your days? Oh, nothing exciting. I bake, I clean, I go out with special group of friends. I keep busy, though I do not face existential dread over never getting to do what I really wanted to do in life. The usual things. Relatable. I wanted to be a professional bed tester, but I fell asleep too quickly to give any useful feedback. It haunts me, actually. You know, get out of bed. That if I'd made it, I'd never have to leave my bed again. I wanted to be a ballerina, so bad. When I was a child, I made myself a dress out of swan feathers, so I could pretend to dance to Swan Lake. How come you didn't pursue it? Because the swan I plucked for feathers was, how you say, pissed off and sued for emotional damages and treatment for the baldness. Yes, it's a noir detective setting. Exactly so, boss. By the time my parents settled out of court, they could not afford the ballet lessons for me. Even now, I cannot afford it. Did you hear that? It's fine. My friends say we will afford soon. Then I will have all the lessons I want. It sounds like you have some nice but weirdly ominous-sounding friends. What does the G stand for, Mrs. G? Gesundheit. But I didn't sneeze. No, that's my husband's last name. We are Mr. and Mrs. Gesundheit. I said I didn't... Oh, I see what you mean. It's your last name? I didn't sneeze, and actually it's short for the full name, which is... Holy moly! Gesund Herr Flammen Werferen Holdkeit. Okay, so bless flamethrower... And I don't understand the last bit, but it's bless flamethrower. Bless you. You see, that's better for us to shorten it to Gesundheit. But I didn't sneeze, and now you see why we go by Mr. and Mrs. G. So, enough about your life story, let's get back to your husband. I was enjoying talking about my favorite subject, myself. How were things before your husband hid in his room? What did you get up to? Not good things, I'm not sure what you mean. How was your husband? Was he having any trouble? Depression, paranoia, money troubles, enemies? A good book that he wanted to finish? No, he just works as an office worker. Cheerful guy, very carefree. Maybe a little too carefree. I mean that carefree only goes so far in terms of doing chores and housework. And that counts as care. But no, none of the things you mentioned happened. He was his old happy self when I left, and when I came back, he was a hermit. I'm so upset. At least... the one bright side of all of this is, with him in his room, it's a lot easier to keep the apartment clean. But good gosh, the mess in the bedroom. You've got to help me bring my husband out, so that I can give the room a proper scrub. What can you tell me about the day he holed up in his room? Don't leave anything out. Well, first thing in the morning, I went into the bathroom and started pooping. Maybe leave some of the things out. Skip to where you saw him out of the room. What happened? Well, I was getting ready to go out. I had season tickets to the local ballet. I never miss a single performance unless I'm on fire and being flayed by knives. Mr. G, though, wouldn't attend a single performance unless he was on fire and being flayed by knives. So he decided to go out with his friends. Truly a healthy modern marriage in action. Did he seem at all odd, or no, his usual sweet self? He gave me a kiss on the cheek, told me to have a good time at the ballet. And mein Gott, I did. It was absolutely amazing. The lead swan was outstanding, so light on her webbed feet, and there was this one particularly handsome flamingo who... Could we focus on your husband? All right. When I got back, he was not home yet. But I didn't think anything of it. I went out for a walk, and by the time I got back, he was in our room. But then I went to go to sleep, the door was locked, and he held it shut and screamed at me to go away because he didn't trust me. At first, I thought he was joking. And then I thought he had a bad headache. But by the next day, I realized he wasn't coming out or going to let me in. And it's been like that since? You have no idea what's triggered this? Do you think I'd be so desperate as to hire you if I knew anything? Did your husband say anything? Has he explained anything? Said anything unusual? Beside the fact that I'm apparently a demon dog and that I'm gonna gobble him up? So just a regular quarrel between spouses. Are you single? Because I am beginning to see why. It's just bad luck and nothing else, clearly. So it's not just the hiding that's weird, but the way that he's suddenly turned on you? Yes, he used to think I was the best girl. He even used to call me his beloved ballerina, but now he either stays quiet or yells at me to go away and leave him alone. That's how he knows I'm out to get him. Get him? How? Oh, he says horrible things like I'll kill him or kidnap him or tie him up in a way he doesn't like. As opposed to the ways that he does like. My, won't you try the cake I made? It's lemon poppy seed. You really love ballet, huh? You mentioned the ballet a few times. Are you a fan? Mein Gott, yes, I love the ballet so much I've watched like Swan Lake 900 times. I want to spend every minute watching and doing ballet. If ballet was an animal, I'd marry them. Whoa. Yeah, I'm a bit of a fan, I suppose. I love going to see the local ballet company every week. Watching the graceful dances makes me feel graceful too. But what I would really love is to be that graceful. I want to dance like that. Why don't you learn? Take some lessons. Have you seen the price of ballet lessons? I couldn't afford it. You might be able to if you didn't spend all your money on going to see the ballet every week. Never! I would never give up seeing the ballet. But oh, I would love the chance to take lessons. If only I knew an instructor who could cut me a deal. A dance instructor. If only if only you knew one. Okay, that should be enough for the moment. They tell us to go away. And they've given us a hint that what we actually want to do is either talk to our cow friend. Or the flamingo.
For every time knowing Lily saved my furry behind on this case, I'd have 2 nickels, which is frankly more money than I've had in years. I'm fairly certain that Joe will have my fur if he catches me skulking around his wife's window. But what other choice do I have? Ask Mrs. G politely to step out of the apartment, wait until she has another appointment, come up with some other excuse. You know, now that I say them aloud, those all sound like
good ideas.
Oh, well, Lily's lessons it is.
Okay. We go talk to our cow friend who teaches dance and see if she'll give some free lessons to Mrs. Wolf. Lily, it's me. Open up. Let me in. So, you frustrating feline, what brings you to my window again? I'm just here to see your beautiful face. Do I need a reason to see your gorgeousness in the flesh, my sweet? Considering how Joe would react, yes, I do. Or at least, you wouldn't be here without such a reason. Am I so transparent? It's one of the few things I find cute about you. Why are you here? Do you need more dance classes? I need dance classes for someone else. Ballet lessons. Who's the lucky lady? Potentially a suspect who I need to get out of the way. Non-lethally. Could you give her some ballet lessons? It's not like ballet is different from the other kinds of dancing, right? It is very different, but you're in luck. I do teach ballet. As you would know if you remembered what I said about my lessons earlier. But that was 10 scenes ago. I can't remember what even happened 10 seconds ago. Yes, I can give this friend of yours lessons. I've even got professional ballerina in 3 lessons package, if they're interested. Do you have a coupon? Yes, why do you ask? Could I get the coupon? Just that, I think this lady really needs a discount. You're saying you want me to give this friend of yours ballet lessons at less than my usual rate, ensuring I lose money and time in the process. Yes, well, you're lucky you're so adorable. After a while. Here's the info on the classes, and here's a coupon for your friend. Okay, back to Mrs. Wolf. Ah, detective. Have you found any leads on what is troubling my dear husband? Let me know if I can help. What can I do for you? Would you like a ballet coupon? Ooh, let me see. Mein Gott, become a professional ballerina in 3 easy lessons? Buy 2, get 1 free? This is everything I've ever wanted. This coupon, is it for me? Why, thank you, Mr. Wilde. I'm sorry I had all those incredibly insulting thoughts about you. Don't worry, I'm used to it. The cat driving his car, and the pig. Better get going. Class will be starting in an hour or 2. Oh yes, but my husband. Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on him. Or at least his door. All part of the investigation, you know? If you say so. Right now I am interested in important things like my new ballet career. Look out, swans, a new prima ballerina is on the prowl. And so she left.
Phew. She's gone. Maybe now the husband will give me some better answers. Or any answers.
Hey? Go away, leave me alone. I'm not talking while she's listening. Your wife is gone. She received some discount ballet lessons. She left for class. It's only you and me. Yeah, right. Why should I trust that? Look out your window if you don't believe me. She should be getting into her car about now. So she is. That's good. Oh, fireworks. Sorry, I was surprised by fireworks sounds. I was scared about having her around. Scared? Why? What did she do? Hang on. Just because she's out of the house doesn't mean that you aren't also out to get me. Give me one good reason to trust you. I exude protagonist energy. Can't you tell from my awesome agency and focus that I am the main character? I can tell you're an asshole. You're not wrong, but that doesn't mean I'm not also the hero of the story. Sounds like something a stupid, self-deluded villain would say. Besides, it's not just my wife. She's part of something bigger, I tell ya. It's a conspiracy. Why am I bothering? You're not going to believe me. No one believes me. Nothing about this situation would ever happen to anyone else. You'd be surprised. Tell me more about your wife. What is this about her being an awful murder killer who kicks puppies? All this time I thought she was so sweet and kind. A sheep in wolf's clothing. She looked like a wolf in wolf's clothing to me, but you don't know her. I didn't know her, but now I do. I know what she did. You don't know what she's done. Which is why I'm asking. If asking questions and gaining new information, well, is it a new concept to you? I can't tell you. You think that I'm insane. That ship is fast leaving port already. I don't think anything you could say would speed up that process. Even if I say that she's a crazed cultist bent on ritual sacrifice and luring strange monsters into our home, in that case I'd take it back. Leave me alone, detective. You just won't believe me. No one will. No one's seen anything like I've seen. What about the hole? I couldn't help but notice you have an interesting hole in the living room. Do you care to comment on it? It isn't a skylight. She said it was a skylight, but she's lying. That's not the most shocking thing you could have told me. I think it's a... Oh, but who cares? You'll never believe me. Who's ever seen a hole like that before? Well, funny that you should mention it. There has been a hole like this. I saw one at a crime scene. And it isn't the only case that I've found about them. The police have another case on file with a similar hole in a different building. They do? But you could just be saying it. Do you want the case number? You mean the case number that I'd have no way of checking? Yeah, that case number. You're going to have to do a lot better than that to convince me you're not yanking my leash. Besides, even if you are telling the truth, you don't get it. This isn't just 1 or 2 or even 3 weird things happening. You'd just think it was a weird coincidence. I actually think it's the opposite. It's a conspiracy, man. Capital C, conspiracy. Is that how you spell conspiracy? I'm bad at spelling. See what I mean? Either you're one of the lemmings who doesn't see a conspiracy right in front of their eyes, or you're part of it, man. That's an interesting leap of logic. Whatever. Try talking to me when your eyes are open and you realize something bigger than all of us is going on. There's been a lot of holes like this. I know you said this was all part of the conspiracy, and you might be right. It turns out that there have been lots of these appearing all over town. I told you. What did I tell you? But maybe you already knew about that, if you're part of the conspiracy. People don't trust me with their lunch money. I don't think anyone would trust me with a large, spanning criminal underworld conspiracy. That kind of makes sense. Wait, did you say criminal underworld? Yes. And conspiracy. My sources say the various gangs in the city are trying to chase down these holes and look for something. Or someone that appears along with them. Some of them have been trying to beat each other to the punch, or pay others to go in and steal things that they're looking for. It's a bad scene, my source would say. What did you just say? The gangs are trying to be the first to... No, the other thing. What was it that your source said? She says that it's a bad scene. I feel like it's a bad pun. But, you know... Alright, then I'll trust you. I'm coming out. Phew, I thought you never would. Now let's get a look at you. What's wrong? Is my wool messy? I haven't had a shower in a month, so... No, you just look an awful lot like someone else I know. Like someone used the same model of a sheep twice. I'm sure that's just pure coincidence. There's no reason this someone would reuse the same model after all. This coming from Mr. Conspiracy? You're trying to say that this is just a coincidence? Of course. Because it's completely different. It's not like this is something where special attention is being called to it. But you are calling special attention to it. Anyway, now you see what I'm talking about. This is all part of the cult's machinations. Cheers, Shabiggest. G'day and welcome. You see, the criminal underworld is its grasping paw. Hang on, back a minute. Before we start unpacking that airport's worth of baggage, what does any of this have to do with your wife and why you are hiding from her? Weren't you listening? She's a member of the cult. And she's taking part in whatever foul kidnappings they have going on. Maybe even murder. And you know this how? Do you want me to start with reading in her journal, or start with hearing it from her victim's own lips? Okay, so maybe there's a journal in here that we could go read? And yet, no. We can talk to him more, though. It's a relief to have someone to speak to about this. What do you need to know? Start from the beginning. Let's pace ourselves. Start from the beginning. What happened the day you started hiding in your room? It started when Wilma headed out to her ballet recital. I'd rather be shaved by a blind yak than watch more of the stuff. So I decided to go out on the town. But before I could do that, let me guess, suddenly a hole appeared in the wall with a loud bang. No, the hole had been there for a week. She said it was for a skylight she was putting in. I was drinking some water and accidentally spilled some. Normally I'd wait for her to get home to clean it up, but after I kept slipping on the puddle, I decided to mop it up myself. It took me an hour to find the closet with the cleaning supplies, because you know, I never use them. And when I opened it, I saw... Did you see cleaning supplies? Yes, but I also saw him, her victim. A victim? What makes you say victim? What else do you call something, or someone who's been kidnapped, tied up, and stuck in a closet? Back up, you're saying you found someone tied up in the closet? Yes, that's what I said, pay attention. But not just someone, a strange, freakish creature. Like nothing I'd seen before. I represent that remark? Huh? I mean, it was a weird, small-legged cat, wasn't it? No, nothing like that. What part of never seen before didn't make sense to you? Good lord, I'm amazed my wife has hired you. Okay, so what was it if not a cat? It was pink, I guess. No fur at all except on its head and shin. Stood on 2 legs, taller than me, had the weirdest face I've ever seen. Yes! I'm the title holder no longer. Our poor ugly detective kitty. So, you found a creature tied up in your broom closet. How did you know your wife was the one who tied them up? Because he told me when I took the gag off. He was gagged? That's usually why you gag someone, yes. He begged me to help him, said he'd been trapped in there for at least a few days. From around the time the hole appeared? Did he say how he got there? Yes and no. He said he appeared in the apartment somehow, which doesn't make sense. And when I asked him to explain, his explanation made even less sense. When I asked him how he got in the closet, well, he was very clear about that it was my wife. My perfidious partner, my suspicious squeeze. Mr. G, focus. How did she manage to overpower him? He said that when he first appeared, my wife was there in the apartment. She reassured him, explained some things, and made some tea to calm him down. But the tea tasted strange, and he fell asleep only to wake up in the closet, gagged and bound. The stinky flamingo? I don't think the flamingo has anything to do with it. Aside from being a witness to the weird cat that appeared. But the tea tasted strange, and he fell asleep only to wake up later. I knew the tea was bad, but I had no idea it was that bad. You said you were able to tell your wife was an evil kidnapper and cultist because of her journal? Well, sort of. It's also her day planner. And on her to-do list, she also calls it her manifestation diary. So wait, you read the thing and somehow between her grocery list, 5-year plan and dream diary, you got mad hostage-taking cultist? It isn't difficult. She put down cultist meeting in her day planner. Not the smartest cultist I've ever heard on. Oh, okay. You're sure he didn't write client meeting in really bad handwriting? No, that ends up looking like diet meeting. And let me tell you, the day I asked how the diet meetings was going, it wasn't a good day for me. Things not to say to the wife? How's the diet meetings going? What else did the creature say to you, other than, help me get out? That was a lot of what they said. And of course, there was also what he told me about what my wife did. But everything else he said was weird. You said something earlier about his explanation of appearing was weird and made no sense. What did he say? I didn't understand a word of it. Something about orbity-blorbity electrons and moron particles and spinning quintet numbers. That sounds less like an explanation and more like me when I'm drunk. Did it have a name? What was it again? Humdinger? Schrödinger? Schrödinger, perhaps? Schrödinger. One heck of a name, I feel for the guy. And my last name is Gesundheit. I didn't sneeze. See what I mean? Anyway, the poor guy seemed freaked out. Although more about the closet thing than anything else. Yes, because everything else was so run-of-the-mill. Did he say anything else strange? Now that you mention it, he did keep asking about his cats. The creature in the closet, claiming your ex-wife drugged him and tied him up. Well, I imagine you had some reaction to that. My first reaction was to try and find something to drink. Oh, that was, kind... water for the prisoner? No, whiskey for me. Then, while I was chugging, he started begging me to keep something safe for him, to make sure my wife didn't get it. Between that, and how big he was, and how weak he was after being trapped in there, I figured I needed help, so I went to E, my neighbor, to ask for help. And did they? Well, you see, that's the thing. When I got back, he was gone. He'd vanished out of the closet, no trace of him. Maybe he escaped after you untied him. You did untie him, right? Gosh damn it, I knew I forgot something. So if he was still tied up, then someone must have moved him. Either your wife or someone else. Detective Cat looks like your cat? Either way, your wife has something to do with it. After we found the closet empty, I read her journal and, well, that was when I locked myself in the room. So you hadn't suspected your wife of being a cultist or kidnapper before? Nope, I only suspected her of having terrible taste in entertainment. I mean ballet, really? The floofy jumping around and pointy hooves? Are you saying that, oh, the giant hole that appeared in your living room didn't maybe clue you in that something was up? I thought that she was just on one of her redecorating kicks. Trust me, a giant hole in the wall isn't the weirdest thing she's ever done. And you still didn't suspect her? But wouldn't she suspect you for being onto her? If she was holding this guy hostage, surely it would have occurred to her that the reason you freaked out and hid from her was because you found him. I don't think you realize how rarely I do any cleaning. I think that was the first time that I've even so much as opened the broom cupboard. She probably figures her secret is safe. Hopefully this has inspired you to do more cleaning around the house. Hell no! I'll just live with the filth. You mentioned that it asked you to keep something safe from your wife. Yes, he was agitated about it, so I took it with me when I went to find help. Where is it now? I left it with my neighbor. I trust them and they seemed like they knew how to keep it safe. Where is this neighbor? I said I trust them. Doesn't mean that I trust you. Wasn't this whole song and dance about getting you out of the bedroom whether you could trust me and... Anyway, I'm sure it's still safe and sound with them. I haven't talked with them since I started hiding. But they're good about this sort of thing. I still don't know what the big song and dance is about, though. You'd think that guy would have more things to worry about than some old collar. A collar? The creature had a collar? Sure did. Talked about it all the time, but I couldn't make heads or tails of what he was saying. Mentioned something about looking for other collars. Can I read your wife's journal? I'd like to see what you have to say and whether there's any more hints. Over there. You haven't seen my journal. Mind you, it's very, very steeled. Okay. Stop talking to him. Now we're allowed to read the wife's journal. Please keep out. That means you, Ed.
Let's see what's in here.
Today's schedule. Get up, make breakfast. Clean up Ed's mess. Finish cleaning. Ed's mess in time for lunch. Grocery shopping, fair appointment, pick up dry cleaning. Pick up Jay for cult meeting. Cult meeting, make dinner.
Got us.
Oops. My bad.
See, nothing at all out of the ordinary. Oh, right.
No, second entry. Shopping list. Eggs, bread, milk, grass. Ethically sourced meat, for me. Unethically sourced meat is a treat. Tea, sugar, sleeping powder. Odorless, tasteless. Rope, blindfold, gag. Keep for later, for fun with Ed. Cleaning detergent, incense, knife, new cloak, black. Sandwiches for tomorrow's cult meeting. Reminder, J dislikes mustard and M hates mayo. Cupcakes for tomorrow's cult meeting.
This is some dark, evil stuff. I mean, she went and got store-bought cupcakes for her secret cult meeting instead of home-baked.
How could she?
That woman's a monster.
Personal goals and manifestations. Finding happiness in my comfortable home.
She even used glitter pens on that last word.
Telling Ed to clean up his own mess. Earn enough money for ballet lessons. Twist the laws of reality and morality to serve the members of our cult of greatness and to enrich us with wealth and power beyond our wildest dreams. Spend more time in the great outdoors. Take up knitting. Dear Diary, exciting start today. I'm cleaning up yet another one of Ed's messes, when wouldn't you know it, some strange guy appears out of the hole in my living room. I can't believe it either. Aren't I the luckiest? He said he was looking for some cats and their collars. Apparently they have some sort of power. Naturally, I did what any smart lady does in this situation. I drugged him, tied him up and stuck him in the closet. I'm a genius. He might be exactly what our cozy little cult has been waiting for. The ticket to everything we've dreamed of. I'll tell the other cult members of the ritual at the ritual tomorrow, since I'm already bringing potato salad. I might need to ask Jay to help me move him. Luckily, no one will ever find him. It'll be a cold day in hell when Ed actually opens the broom cupboard. Dear Diary, what a day. I'm so excited. After longing for this for so long, I finally got to see the latest production of Swan Lake. It was indescribable, just like the other 20 versions that I saw. I already bought tickets to the next one. I've heard it might involve a goat. I also took advantage of Ed being out of the house with his friends and got my house guest moved to the cult headquarters. One less chore to do around the house. Everyone was excited about our visitor and agreed we should keep him at the mansion. He was heavy to carry though. Thank goodness Jay came along. We got him to the cult meeting and had quite a lively interrogation. It was late when I got home and Ed must have already gone to bed, innocent as a lamb. But the silly sheep has locked the door. Oh dear.
This one's dated for today.
Things that I'm worried about. World hunger and poverty. The price of eggs.
She must have written it before I showed up.
Whether the other cult members will like the pie I baked for tonight's meeting. Where the last 2 collars have gone to. We have 3 of the 5, but the first one is still missing, and M ended up losing the 5th. How are we supposed to achieve our goals without them? My poor sweet Ed, I wish I had the foggiest idea of what's bothering him. I can't think of a single thing that could explain why he's so scared and defensive of me. That I'm massively overpaying for Detectives Wilde's talents.
Getting a bargain, more like it. But wait, M lost the 5th? Could that be...
Manny the Mantis?
Do I have the 5th caller? That's everything. Call me a crazy cat, but I'm beginning to think this lady might be a cultist. But hang on. Today's schedule, tomorrow's meeting, all of these entries are dated, meaning I can tell when these cult meetings are happening. Looks like they happen every week like clockwork. Using my deductive skills, I can work out the next one will be... Or I could have guessed that from the entry from today that mentioned tonight's meeting. Sure, I guess.
The Diary. Achievement unlocked. Secrets of the Diary. Okay, and now that we've looked at that, can we talk to you again? It's a relief to have someone to tell about this. Do you know what you need to know? I read the journal. It's a lot longer than the books I usually read, and there weren't any pictures. I thought its writing was subpar. Never mind that, you idiot. What about the proof of her crimes? Did you see it? Yes. In my professional experience and opinion, your wife is totally a cultist. And how much is my wife paying you for these leaps of insight? Never mind that. The journal mentions some sort of meeting that goes on regularly. Do you know where it might be? No clue. Do you have any idea about this J character? Seems to be a culty friend of your wife. No idea. Do you know anything about your wife's personal life? Friends? Pastimes? Hobbies? Why would I bother staying updated on all of that? She's only my wife. I'm beginning to think the two of you deserve each other. Alright, well, I've got to figure out how to crash a cult meeting. Now that you're out of the room, you might want to go somewhere safe. You don't have to tell me twice. This thing is definitely what I would call a bad scene. Oh, you've given me idea. I never thought I'd say this, but I might actually have to go talk to the cops. Really? Well then let's go talk to Betty.
So Mr. G's wife is involved with something sinister, and more callers are showing up. But that's not what's got me think. Two things are bugging me. One, I have a big itch on my back that I just can't reach.
Sounds terrible.
And two, Mr. G's a sheep. Which would be fine if Elma wasn't a sheep as well. That's too many sheeps in one case just to be a coincidence. Something's not adding up. And since I suck at basic math, I'm gonna go talk to Betty. She at least could count above 10, I think.
Well, 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 look who's back. I still can't help you, you know. Does that mean you can help me? You can't help me, or that you can't not help me? It means I clearly have to pick a simpler code. One that your tiny brain can actually wrap itself around. Either way, I'm here for something that you should be able to help me with. Or can help me with? Whatever. You've got records on everyone in the city in your filing cabinet, right? I need to check up on someone relevant to the case. I suppose you're lucky my files are well organized. What's their last name? Schrödinger or Gautier? There's a sheep who might be related to this case. Elma Gautier. A female name? I'm amazed you could meet a woman who would tolerate you for more than 60 seconds. I have plenty of female friends. Some of them even tolerate me for 90 seconds. Anyway, do you have a file on her? Let me check. She searches for the files. Oh boy, we do have a file on her. List of crimes goes from here down to my hooves. Like what? Stealing, kidnapping, murder? 20 cases of is a femme fatale in a noir drama, so is clearly guilty of something. That and petty theft. Fencing stolen goods, blackmail, solicitation, taking candy from a baby? The witch! She certainly seems to have a diverse portfolio of skills. Does she have any relatives? Says unknown. What does that mean? I mean, you're not totally wrong. Elma, sorry Steve, pulled the fast one on me. I didn't even notice the wagging tail. It means that she might have gone by a name before Gautier. Looks like the first thing we have on file for her is a petition for a legal name change. Why did she change her name? The reason she wrote was, my original family name is bad. How bad? Her original family name was Gesundheit. The same last name as the other sheep that I've been talking to, they must be related. If this is one of your all-sheep look-alike things, Al, I swear to salt licks. No, I think I'm onto something. Look up Gesundheit. I didn't sneeze. Yes, I know, it's their name. We've already done that gag to death. Look up files for any male sheep with the name Gesundheit. Or Gesundheit, guess. I think that's enough to work off. It's much more than you usually give me. She searches the files. Here we go. Mr. Gesundheit, in the system for a parking violation. Blocking a zebra crossing, the poor zebras. Let's see. Yeah, that's definitely him. My client, well, my client's husband. Long story, what does his file say? Arrests for public drunkenness, but who doesn't have one of those? Family connection, married to a wolf. That would be my client or suspect. It's a bit complicated. Any other family members? His parents are deceased. Only living relative is a half-sister. Elmer? I knew it. I knew they were connected. They're siblings. You mean your stupid insistence that every animal knows every other animal of the same species is actually paid off for once? What can I say? I'm a genius. It's part of being such a master detective. Okay, so what are the implications of them being related? I mean, that's clearly that, I don't really know. This is my surprised face. Well, one of the siblings in question, I need to go talk to them and find out what's up. That's fair. At least you're doing something that could be vaguely mistaken for detective work if you squint at it. Which is more than what we're doing. You've helped me tons. Or you didn't help? Because you're not supposed to? You unhelped? That's, you know what? Whatever, I'll take the compliment. Go see the two witnesses and see what they say. Who knows, it might even have something to do with the case, as opposed to just being weird serendipity. One last thing. There's one more name that's popped up. Could you look up Schrödinger? I think I know that name. Let me check our records. He's a physics professor at the local university. Talks a lot about things like, well, things my underpaid police hind doesn't understand. Entanglement, wave mechanics. He's been missing for the past month or so? No, he's been out of town at some sort of bigwig seminar. A likely story. Probably just a cover for him being missing, while he's actually trapped in a wolf's closet with a gag in his mouth. It's an interesting theory, but the newspapers have had pictures of him for weeks, with headlines of local university professor amazes international community with a lecture. That would be pretty hard to explain. Which of course you would have known if you ever read the newspaper. Meh, I just glance at the classifieds and the comics. Those are the only important bits. Still, that is strange. If Schrödinger's out of town with an airtight alibi, who's the guy in the closet claiming to be him? Beats me, maybe I should ask him. That's going to be a bit of a tough ask, though. Maybe our secret siblings might be able to shed more light on the situation. Mr. G is now here. Hey, I know this looks bad, but I can explain. What are you doing at the bar? I thought you were in hiding. You know, the whole locked in your room thing? Do you know how hard it is to get good booze when you're locked in your own bedroom? I figured now that it was safe for me to come out and have the drink that I deserved. Or 1 or 2 or 10. Making up for lost time? It has been a bad scene. It sure has been. It's been a bad scene for a lot of different animals, hasn't it? Cats, flamingos, sheep. I knew you understood, because as soon as I talked about how much had been going on, you opened the door and talked to me. More specifically, as soon as you heard me talking about how it had been a bad scene. It was like my words alone made you realize that I talked to all these animals in the bad scene. Or maybe just one particular animal. Do I have to keep saying bad scene for you? Enough, I get it. You've made your point. I did recognize who you heard it from. Elma is my half-sister. Same ram, different ewes. We're not super close, but we've got each other's backs. A month ago, when I reached out to her for help. How did she help you? I assume she was the friend you mentioned who helped you. After I found the creature in the cupboard, I knew I needed help to get him out of there. It had to be someone I could trust. I called her and arranged to meet her. Explained who I'd found and what he'd told me about my wife. She agreed to take the guy back to her place and hide him. But by the time you got back to your place, the hostage was gone? Exactly. At first, she accused me of setting up a stupid prank, but then she saw the hole in my wife's diary. That was when she told me to barricade myself in my room. Said she'd take care of everything and get me when it was safe. which she hasn't, meaning she's either the world's worst sister or things aren't safe. Or perhaps both. She seems to know more about something about these weird appearances. Did she know what was up when you reached out? Nope, she'd never heard of anything before. Didn't believe me at first, what with all the talk about collars and weird holes. You know, some animals have, well, certain tastes. I mean the guy's collar and the hole in the ceiling. God, you tomcats. So, she'd never heard of anything like this before and knew less than you. Well, it certainly started that way, but I got the sense that she might have found out more later on. Have you been in touch with her since? You say that you saw her a month ago when you tried to help the kidnapped creature. What about after that? Well, I wasn't exactly being that social, considering that I was locked in my room. You could have tried smoke signals. No, but I did manage to sneak out once and call her while my wife was out. I was thinking she might be able to spring me free, but she was in a hurry. All she managed to ask was whether any more collars had turned up. Said they might be worth more than we thought. That certainly sounds familiar, and I assume you hadn't? Like I said, I was locked in my room. She said that for now that might be the safest place for me. Apparently it was a bad scene out there. And that whole bad scene is a code between you and Elma? That I could be trusted? No, nothing like that. That's just how she talks about her little side gigs, if you catch my drift. I'm incapable of catching drifts, but I can at least smile and nod as if I understand. Well, that's enough. I figured when you said that you'd talked to Elma, and if she told you what was up, then there was probably enough reason to come out and talk to you. So it proved that she trusted me and you could as well? Trust is a strong word. Let's go with consider you vaguely useful enough to bother actually looping you in on some info. I'll take it. Is there anything else you can think about her involvement with the case? Anything she told you before or after? Or anything that you told her? Mostly she just told me to keep myself safe and keep the collar safe in return. Wait a minute. Back up. Just to the left there. She's got the collar? Yes, she was adamant that it was important and needed to be kept safe. So I brought it with me when I asked her for help. After he vanished, I gave it to her for safekeeping. I didn't want my wife finding it after all. Well, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The good news is your wife won't find it. The bad news is I'm pretty sure Elma has sold it to lowlives. One sec, sorry. One sec. Cough, cough, cough. Actually, I asked about that when she called and mentioned the collars were worth money. I asked if she sold the one she had, but she said she wanted enough dough so we could both skip town in style together. Apparently whoever's buying them would pay more if we could get a full set. So you're saying she still has the collar? It's all coming together. It's a jumbled mess, but I can't make heads or tails of it. I think I'm going to have to talk to your sister. Do you know where she is? If she's not here or at the bar, she'd be at her apartment. Could you give me the address? I never managed to charm her into taking me back to her place. How unsurprising. But if she's humoured you enough to fill you in on the collar con, I suppose I could give you her address. Okay, new location? I can't see any reason why we would want to talk about the, or talk to the zebra. We do have a new location.
I should have known. Should have known the minute that dame started looking sheepish. Well, I mean, she always looks sheepish. She's a sheep. But she's wrapped up in this case tighter than my belt after Christmas dinner, which would be pretty tight if I wore a belt. I think it's time she gave me some real answers, ideally spelled out in small words, with a helpful diagram, maybe with puppets. I do love puppets.
Alright, Elmer, the wool's out of the washer. But I need to step away from a sec, refill my drink before we continue. So I shall... Boop! Be right back, give me a min. Drink refilled. Cheers, oh. Time you give me some clear, clean, organized answers. Is now a bad time? It's always a bad time when you're involved. It's almost adorable, to be honest. Are you alright? I'm perfectly fine. I wish I could say the same for my apartment. How am I supposed to project aloof elegance like this? What happened? I'm not sure. I was out on the town, and then I found my place like this when I got back. Let me guess. Your brother's wife. Did Mrs. G come and attack you in revenge for trying to help your brother? Or for taking the closet guy's collar? Ah, right, that. You have been busy. How is Ed? Out of his room and at the bar getting drunk. No thanks to his deadbeat sister leaving him there to rot while she makes off with all his valuables. That's not exactly what happened. I can explain. Thank God. I figured some of this out, but I have no idea what it means. So I need someone to tell me. That's the Al I know and benevolently tolerate. Alright. Come talk to me while I get things cleaned up a bit. Is there anything else worth investigating in her house? Hey, I recognize this kind of cabinet. I've got one just like it. Really? How interesting. I use the secret compartment to hide my booze. Do you want something to drink while I'm here? No, that's fine. I'm fine. No drinks, please, or anything from the cabinet. That makes me feel like they want us to make her go away so that we can open the cabinet? So I guess we need to talk to you. I suppose you've got questions for me. You could say that. Holy moly, this is a big dialogue tree. Start at the beginning. With the basics. I'm good at them. Well, I'm at least middling. I want you to tell me how you got into this. I've heard Mr. G's version, but I want to hear yours and see if they line up. I could also use a refresher because that was 10 minutes ago. It started a month ago. I was minding my beeswax when I got a call from Ed, my brother. He was frantic, begged me to come round and meet him in private. When I got there, he explained that he found some guy tied up in a cleaning cupboard and that he had peered through a hole in the roof and his wife had trapped him. Did you believe any of it? I wouldn't put it past his wife. She's a real wolf in sheep's clothing. But the rest seemed kind of far-fetched, especially when we got to his place and the closet was empty. I figured he was pulling the wool over my eyes. What convinced you he was telling the truth? Well, for starters, how terrified he was. My brother, he can't act to save his life. But what convinced me the most was reading his wife's journal. It matched her handwriting and his story. That was when I freaked out and told him to lock himself in his room. I was worried his wife would do something bad. And I wanted him to be safe. Why not ask him to come stay with you? Wouldn't that be safer? Have you met my brother and see his idea of cleaning? My apartment would look even worse than it did now. Besides, his wife would have been way more suspicious if he left like that. Yeah, it's not like she wasn't suspicious that her husband had suddenly locked himself in the room for a month with no explanation. Not suspicious at all. I panicked, all right? At least he was safe while I found a way to get us both out of town. Speaking of, what about the collar? Did he give you it for safekeeping? Yes. He said that the guy in the closet said it was important and that he begged Ed to keep it safe from his wife and the weird cult. Ed didn't know what was so important about it, but he felt he owed it to the guy, and I figured I'd humor him by keeping it safe. You said that because you knew the gangs were looking for them and they actually pay big money for them. Wrong as usual. The gangs hadn't told me a word about the collars yet. This was the first that I'd ever seen or heard of them. I took the collar and hid it for my brother. It was only later that it became clear how valuable it was. So you told Mr. G to hole up in his room and took the collar with you. What happened next? I assume you had some sort of plan. I was going to arrange for the both of us to get out of town. Between my sister-in-law and the kooky cult family, I figured Ed wasn't safe here, and neither was I. But holy cud, do you know how much bus tickets out of this city cost? The trolley companies are fleecing us blind. Tell me about it. I tried to go on a trip once, and a return ticket would have cost me both my kidneys. At least since you're going one way, it would only be one kidney each. Well, I like my kidneys where they are, thank you. Besides, it's only a crappy bus. A lady like me needs to travel in style, and well, we need money to set ourselves up for wherever we move to. So I couldn't go anywhere until I'd scored some serious funds. And on a lounge singer's salary, well, you get why it's taken a while. Let me guess, this is where the collar came in. Sort of, like I told you before. I started hearing chatter in the underbelly about the gangs looking for them. I put two and two together and realized they'd want mine. And I did consider selling it. But then I realized they weren't just looking for one, but for as many as they could find. So you got greedy. You had an idea. Look, selling a collar would have gotten one of us as far as Dogbuttville. Middle of Dogbutt. Like I said, highway robbery. But selling a set of collars, that would set us up for life. So yes, I've held on to the one my brother gave me and started looking for opportunities to grab more. Figured I could collect a few and sell them all together for big bucks to the highest bidder. Except that Manny the Mantis put a little fly in your ointment. Darling, I don't use ointments. This is a natural glow. I should have known your wool was dirty, Elmer. You lied to me. Firstly, that isn't actually a question, and secondly, when? All the stuff I told you about the gangs looking for the collars was truthful. You never told me you had a brother. You didn't ask about my family tree. You were too busy being smug about the pineapple regret. Besides, why would I mention him? It's not like I have any reason to think he was relevant to your investigation. Other than the fact that he found a hole in his apartment, like the one in my case, and met someone with a collar, like the one in my case, well, maybe there was some reason to think he might be relevant. The point is, you made it sound like you only heard vague rumors from your contacts. You never mentioned you actually found a collar and learned about what was going on. And my point is, my brother was trapped in his apartment by that wolf of a wife, and by a cult of kidnappers. I wasn't about to put him at risk by sharing more info than I had to, especially not in the middle of a public bar. I'm not sure that I can trust you. I'll try to contain my disappointment. You didn't really answer my question from earlier properly. Do you have any idea who broke in and did this? My non-existent money is on Mantis and his croc tears. They're the ones who caught me with the collar. I wouldn't be surprised if they suspected I might have another. Not to mention, you know, someone happened to start asking me questions while one of his goons was stalking around. Who was that? They could be relevant to the case. Oh, you mean me. Oops, but we didn't. I got rid of the crocodile before we talked to, the sheep girl again. Are you sure it was the Mantis's gang? Could have been one of the others. Or maybe even that cult that Mrs. G is part of. Another gang could be possible. Gossip spreads in the seedy part of town. If they heard about me trying to steal from the Mantis, maybe they thought that I'd stolen from them too. And I suppose the cult is plausible as well. I don't know much about it other than from the diary. But how would they know how would they know that I was involved? Or where I lived? It's not like your sister-in-law is part of the cult or anything. You know, every now and again you say something smart and I don't like it. Okay, I don't know who's behind it, but at least I have a lead on finding the animal who actually broke in and tore up the place. You do? Whoever was here got sloppy and left their hat. It's definitely not one of my hats, nor one of Ed's or his wife's. So all I have to do is go through the other, couple of millions of animals in this town and figure out whose hat it is. Easy, right? Do you mind if I take a look? I might be able to identify it, or find a way to track it to its owner. I doubt that, but knock yourself out. It's over there in the middle of the mess. So, what started the gangs hunting for these collars anyway? Let me guess. You wanted cash. So, you told them about the one you found and convinced them that they're valuable. Darling, you'd do well as a fiction writer. Except for, you know, being the whole unable to spell and string sentences together bit. No, I didn't tell a soul about the collar. They started talking about them without my help. When did that start? Oh, I'd say about a week or two. From when I left my brother's place. In other words, within a week of the cult removing the closet guy from your brother's apartment. Do you think it's connected? I hope not. I don't like the idea of the criminal organizations in this town working in a weird kidnapping cult. Anyway, they only said that the collars were incredibly valuable. I haven't got the foggiest idea of why. Oh, I've got my own thoughts on why. Beg pardon. But they did also say that they were only expecting a limited number of them to show up. That they would pay a premium for every single one. What do you know about the cult your sister-in-law is a part of? Do you know anything about them? Nope, no more than my brother did. But they're clearly up to no good. Who sticks a guy in a closet for weeks and then takes him somewhere else? Well, there was this one time in school when one of the class clowns locked me in a closet for a week. I don't believe it. What, that I was stuck in there for a week? No, that you went to school. I did. And this guy locked me in a closet. Well, he didn't lock anything. I just didn't understand how to open the door, so I sat there for a week. Now that I believe. But as for this cult, do you have any clue as to where they might have taken your guy? Which part of I don't know anything didn't you understand? Probably wherever they're holding their meetings, wherever that might be. Oh, so if I can find their hideout, I might be able to solve the mystery. Somehow, I guess. Well, it's as good an idea as any of the others that I've had. That isn't a ringing endorsement. So, you've had one of the collars with you for a while. What do you know about them? Next to nothing. The guy in the closet explained it to Ed, but Ed didn't understand a word, and neither did I when I tried to remember it. Apparently they're soaked in, what was it? Precipitation? Participles? Particles. Some kind of particles. But it just looked like a weird, boring, ordinary collar. So you've never figured out the little trick that it can do? What little trick? Nothing. Just something that would have probably helped you with money and transportation. What? Anyway, I take it the gangs weren't forthcoming either about why they wanted them. No, only that there was a certain number and they wanted every single one. That's why I figured I should get as many as I could, to get a better price. Ironic, and now you've got no collars at all. First, that's not what irony is. And second, yes I do. Wait, what? You still have it? Of course, I'm not a lost little lamb. I made sure to hide it where no one would ever find it. Where? You're not understanding the point of my hiding spot, are you? I don't want anyone to find it. Telling you would defeat the purpose. Well, I'm no one. Does that mean I find what's there? I'm not going to tell you where I hid it. Good luck finding it. Okay, I need to go. Does that mean we now know that the collar is in here? We confront her about it. And it does have the collar. This isn't booze, it's the collar. I thought you'd already figured that out and were just coming up with an excuse to get close and open it up. That is what I was trying to do. Well, that and trying to find your booze. I'm not letting you have it. Ed told me to keep it safe. And it's mine. I earned it. And whatever cash I can sell it for. Nice try, but I need it as part of the investigation. It could crack this case wide open. I don't care. I care about my brother and the money. I won't hand it over to you. Let me put it this way. Whoever's behind this has already proven they're dangerous enough to wreck your place looking for the collar you have. If they think you still have it, next time they might try and do worse to you. Maybe wreck your face, or worse, your wool. They wouldn't dare! Between criminal gangs and kidnap cults, I think you know that they absolutely would dare. And you know blood doesn't wash out of wool. Cat fur, on the other hand, is totally washable. Everything licks off, baby. If I had the collar, I'm the one they'd try and kill. Well, why didn't you say so? Then have it. Not gonna lie, I thought it would be harder to convince you than that. What can I say? You sweetened the pot. Besides, I could always grab it off of your corpse. I have experience with that. I just don't know how a collar is supposed to help with the investigation. I'm not sure either. Although I know one way one collar can be useful. Oh, or nothing. Don't worry about it. I just have to figure out how it might help. But I'll keep this one safe in the meantime. So we have 2 teleport collars now? But how would 2 collars be more useful than 1 collar? I truly don't know. No, we have no more questions.
No, I shouldn't leave yet. There's something I'm still missing, besides
Really?
my marbles.
What? I don't think there is something I'm missing, game.
No, I shouldn't
Can I
leave
teleport
yet.
away?
There's something I'm still missing, besides my marbles.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We might have triggered a bug. By finding this extra soon, maybe we've triggered a bug. Oh no, here we go.
Elma's right. The thief did leave a hat. Not a particularly stylish one either. I call it the Cowpat Special. Hang on. I've seen this hat before. I've seen someone wearing it.
You ain't got time to chat. Boss has been asking for you on the
Tip
regular.
of my tongue. Almost got it.
Grab whichever paper you want.
Wait a minute. It can't be.
Sandwiches for tomorrow's meeting. Reminder, J dislikes mustard and M hates mayo.
Then, Jay, it's Jimmy, the thief. The one working with the cult should have known he was a stool pigeon. Or, well, the opposite, I guess. I should tell Elma who did this.
Who did it? Who breaks into Elma's? Solved. I suppose you've got questions for me. I know who tried to rob you. It's Jimmy. He's working for the cult. He's the J in Mrs. G's diary. Jimmy at the newsstand. Now that you mention it, he does always wear a hat like this. What a creep. I'm going to show him a bad scene. You're not going to be impressed about my awesome detective work? I think I'm too much in shock to wrap my head around it, honestly. How about this? You shouldn't go after him. Well, now we've looped back around to you being stupid. This is familiar territory, at least. What I mean is, he's our best link to the cult. The Journal said they're having a meeting. It's guaranteed he'll have to go back and report how his break-in went. This is our chance to follow him back to wherever the cult meets, get the drop on them, hopefully save the closet guy, and solve the mystery of the collars and cats, and save the day. That doesn't sound like as much fun as punching him in the beak. And besides, how are you going to follow him? With my feline skills of tracking and stealth. Okay, a plan B might be a good idea. Maybe I could convince him to take him with us. How are you going to do that? Try and trade my hard-won collar to him so that he'll bring you along? Don't be absurd. I wouldn't use that collar to get to him. But wait, what if I used a different collar? I know how to follow him. I have a foolproof way to get myself into there. I'm not telling you. This time I'm going to be the one with all the secrets. Doesn't it annoy you now that the shoe is on the other paw? Not particularly. That would involve caring, which I don't.
Anyway, my plan was perfect. Get my collar on Jimmy somehow. Wait until he's left for the cult meeting. Then use it to teleport to his location. Now all I have to do is figure out how to get the collar on him. But how to do it.
Hello, are you there, Al?
Back and tape it to him. No. Catapult it onto his neck. No.
He's monologuing again, isn't he? God darn it.
Boy, coming up with brilliant plans is hungry work. I'm starving. I could use a sandwich. Wait. That...
Elma, could I use your kitchen? I need to make a sandwich. Sometimes the way your brain works terrifies me, sweetie. The cat's face is unsettling. I find the way that the sheep doesn't blink is the most scary. It just stares unendlessly at you with its soulless eyes. You know what? Fine, go ahead. Make me a sandwich while you're at it. The kitchen's right there. Hopefully it won't get too messy. Okay, we gotta make you a sandwich.
If there's one universal truth among animals, it's that everyone wants a sandwich when they're hungry. It's true for me, and that means it's true for everyone. Besides, Mrs. G's diary mentioned making sandwiches for a cult, so there's no way Jimmy's gonna turn down a sandwich. Not even one with a secret ingredient. The secret ingredient being my collar. All I have to do is wait for him to take the sandwich with him to the cult meeting, and then teleport there and nab them in the act.
In the act of eating sandwiches?
But first, I have to make the sandwich. It has to be a sandwich tasty enough for Jimmy to take it with him, but not so tasty that he bites into it and gets a beak full of collar. And it's gotta be thick and sloppy enough to hide the collar. So, to start, let's go with...
birdseed loaf, a wilted cabbage, or tons of mustard.
A good sandwich always has tons of mustard. And by good sandwich, I mean sandwich that I like. Of course, Mrs. G's diary did mention that Jimmy disliked mustard, but he's a bad guy, and therefore wrong. So, tons of mustard. Now to add. Looks like this small, wilted cabbage is the only veggie Elma has in her fridge. I guess sheep go through their veggies pretty quick. Cabbage is basically the same as lettuce. right?
Yes.
Totally. I'll just stuff whole leaves of it in. Yeah. I'll put the whole head of cabbage in, just to be safe. It's small. It'll be fine. Now, next. What self-respecting pigeon is gonna turn down bread and bird seed? In fact, maybe I should put in an extra slice in the middle. You know, bread sandwich. Jimmy's gonna love it. Maybe a few extra slices just to be sure. Next, I'll add...
The final ingredient, our
just
collar.
have to smoosh my collar in the middle of all this bread and cabbage and mustard. I guess this would count as adding collard greens. Well, I thought it was funny. Good job, internal me. All right, sandwich is all ready to go. Now I just have to get it to Jimmy. There's nothing else I have to do here.
Sweetie, have you made an extra sandwich for me?
One thing I have to do. I think there's enough bread and mustard left.
Do I actually have to give you your sandwich? Will you be okay? I've got my sandwich and my plan to track down the cult. What will you do? Oh, you know me, I'll be fine. This wool of mine washes clean. Maybe you should go check out your brother at the bar. If I don't take this weird maybe cult, maybe gang down, which you probably won't, you two should get somewhere safe. I'll join him as soon as I'm done here. We may not have the money to skip town, but we could at least hole up somewhere for a while. And Al, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but thank you for your help. You're welcome. And that means I'm not on cleanup duty, right? Just go. Okay. We now need to go...
Back to where it all started. To the bird who sold me that newspaper that got me onto this case to start with. I should have known. Can't trust anyone in this crazy town. Backstabbing, underhanded, criminal lowlifes. All of them. I'm the one bringing them all to justice. Shining a light on whatever weird, criminal, culty ring has got its claws into this city. Just wish, you know, justice and truth paid a bit better.
Okay. Here is Bird. Give Bird sandwich. What do you want? You're still here, huh? Don't you ever get off work? I'm due to clock out pretty soon as I'm done answering inane questions from customers. But there aren't any customers around. Oh, you meant me. What do you want? I want you to confess that you're hungry. You've been here for hours. Surely you have to be peck-ish. Get it? 'Cause you're a bird and I can't decide if I hate cats or just you. That's not any way to talk to someone who's made you a sandwich. I figure you could take it and have it on your break, wherever that might be happening. You made me a sandwich? Why? Because I'm just giving out sandwiches to everyone. I came by to give you one. And also Rudy, but I guess Rudy's out. Why are you handing out sandwiches? 'Cause I feel the need to make a better effort to be nice to people. And who doesn't love a sandwich? You like how...
He sounds so gruffled. His gruffness is extreme.
Except for animals with no ways to process gluten. Like birds. Trust me, this sandwich is worth nightmarish indigestion. What kind of sandwich is it anyway? Collard greens, birdseed loaf. You like birdseed, right? Sure, but not enough to take a whole sandwich. Wait, is there 3 slices? I knew you'd like it. I hope you didn't make a sandwich just out of 3 slices of bread. Blah, 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 blah. I'll take the sandwich if you shut up. Great, here you go. All wrapped up in a nice little paper bag ready for you to have later. Are you standing around to watch me eat? No, I'm waiting for you to thank me for my thoughtfulness and my willingness to bury the hatchet. Then you're going to be waiting a long time, and I'd suggest you wait somewhere else. I have to clear up before I head off on break.
All the pieces are in motion. It's the point of no return. The moment when the facts come to light and the case solves itself. The moment when I'm finally able to figure out what the heck is going on. Sometimes, partly, bits and pieces. If that, Jimmy's got the sandwich with the collar inside it. By now, he'll be on his way to the cult meeting. If he isn't there already. Planning ritual kidnappings and home break-ins is hungry work. Obviously, he'll want to bring a tasty and filling sandwich to their hideout to munch on, meaning I can teleport there via the collar inside. And once I'm there, all I have to do is bring the entire cult to justice, expose their ties to the criminal underworld, save the closet guy, and get justice for that poor dead warehouse kitty. I have no idea how I'll do all that, but I'm sure I'll figure it out as I go along.
Could we bring along Betty? No, it dumps us out next to the teleporter, so the implication is that we're meant to use the teleporter right now.
All right, Jimmy should be wherever he is, wherever that may be. I've got no clue where this'll teleport me to. I flip this switch, and there might be no coming back. Not without a long, long walk. Let's go. Before Jimmy gets too peckish and starts tearing into that sandwich.
Weird that it asks me that when it dumped me here, but okay. Loading forest. We've got color.
Whoa. What is this place? What is that stuff on the trees? Why are they green all of a sudden? And how do I even know what green is? Well, if it's in color, this place has to be important, right? This must be the cult hideout. Seeing as Jimmy definitely would have taken such a nice sandwich all the way to HQ for their little meeting. He definitely wouldn't have thrown the sandwich away.
Oh my
out
God.
the window of his car. Like it was garbage. What the heck? How could he toss my paw-made sandwich like that? I spent minutes slaving away to make that. I'm gonna make him pay. Besides, throwing things out of a moving vehicle, that's litter. I can excuse cult rituals and kidnapping, but litter is where I draw the line. Better keep this safe. It seems to end up in the garbage otherwise. Now, to find where Jimmy went, I'd better be careful. This is cult territory after all. The whole forest could be crawling with cultists. Anyone I bump into is likely to be working for the cult. I'd better keep my cat's eye peeled.
And we get to keep the color. Horrifying. Hello, totally not cultists.
I knew it. Cultists. There's no other explanation as to why anyone would be out here, except for, you know, all the perfectly good explanations as to why someone might be out here. But what are the chances they'd have a good explanation?
What the? Open wide, sweetie. I made your favorite grass salad. Oh boy. Nom nom nom. I'm so glad you finally decided to come out and get some fresh air. I've been worried about you. Well, it was just one of those things, you know, but I'm here now. Could you pass me some more grass salad? It's Mr. and Mrs. G. I was going to stay away, but after some time I found myself having second thoughts. A new perspective. What kind of perspective makes you go back to a cult kidnapper? The perspective that if I leave her, I'm going to have to do my own cleaning. I'd rather take my chances with her. Yes, but at least she knows her way around the cleaning cupboard. Yes, and I know that I was making a big deal about that, but on the other hand, I don't want to have to make my own bed. It all balances out. Mr. Wilde, my husband came out of his room at last. Isn't it exciting? It sure is something. Should I invoice you for my services, seeing as you hired me to help me with that? No. I hired you to find out why he was in his room, and you never found out. He told me himself that he just had bad gas and felt grumpy, and then came out on his own. So it seems, Detective, you didn't do anything to earn your pay, and I don't see why I should pay you a cent.
That was the moment I knew she was pure evil. Kidnapping and joining a dark cult is one thing, but stiffing me on my bill, unforgivable.
What are you doing here so late at night, Detective? Practicing my monologuing. On quiet nights in the woods is the perfect place, and it doesn't bother anyone. How about you? What are you doing in these woods? I figured my husband could use some fresh air. It's a lovely evening. I bet you and us aren't the only ones out here. I bet there are all sorts of folks out here, and that you're eager to meet up with them. Why not? I'm not a lone wolf. I like socializing and good company. And you and my husband are, well, you are company. Well, I hope you find some of your friends. Who knows, maybe I'll bump into all of you. Don't be offended, but I hope not. And so he was alone again. Okay, I assume we keep going down the road. Dun 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 dun.
First one suspicious encounter, then another.
Oh, it's our cow friend and her husband.
That can't be a coincidence, right? Please tell me I'm right. Okay. The previous suspect might have claimed a good reason for being out here, but surely this one will spill the beans.
Lily, what are you doing here? Oh, Al, sweet. I wasn't expecting you to be out here in the middle of our romantic couples camping weekend. You and Joe are camping? Yes, we thought it might be a nice way to spend some time together. Do you have a problem with it? It's a little inconvenient that you picked the night that a bunch of suspicious folks decided to hang out in the woods. But maybe it's very convenient for you both to be out in the woods too, if you catch my drift. I mean, it was my day off, so I guess that counts as being convenient. I mean, I suppose so. And what about the husband? You? What are you doing out here, cat? I might ask the same thing. I'm here spending quality time with my wife. To get away from the tomcat who keeps chasing her skirt. And look who decided to show up in the middle of nowhere. Who, occultist? You jerk. You keep asking my wife for favors, and now you show up during our camping trip. And you wonder why I'm suspicious. I'm the one who should be suspicious. Who would want to go camping with the person that they're married to? It's gotta be cover. The only cover around here is the one I'll put over your body if you don't clear off and leave my wife alone. But why would they need to? Oh, alright, I got it. I'm leaving. Okay. And then further down the road...
More animals. Since when did animals live in forests like this? Okay. This time it's gotta be a cultist confession, right? What are the chances that a third suspect has a legitimate reason to be out here?
What the? No, not here. See anything, Rudy? I'm not looking for you, Jimmy. You lost your hat. You go find it. I mean, I might have dropped it out here when I was hiking. But I guess there are other places I could have dropped it. It's not my problem. All I know is you better find the hat, or it's your job. Who ever heard of a newspaper busker without a jaunty hat? Oh great, now the cat's here too. What do you want? I want you to confess to your diabolical crime that you threw away my lovely sandwich that I made for you. How could you? You didn't even take it with you. From what I could see, the sandwich was literally just slices of bread and wilted greens. And mustard. And I hate mustard. But it's the thought that... Wait. Did you... What? Wait? Did you say from what you could see? As in you didn't even try a bite? No comment. How did you know that I threw away the sandwich? In fact, how are you out here in the first place? No comment. I hope you didn't end up feeling peckish when you get to whatever it is you're going to. Anyway, that's enough from you. And what about Rudy? I'm out here getting some peace and quiet, that's what. And making sure Jimmy finds his hat. Which is cutting into my peace and quiet. Trust me on this. Jimmy is not as nice as you think. He's actually sketchy. That's rich. You're telling a bookie that this guy is sketchy. Like I'm not up to my antlers in sketch. I'm basically taking sketching classes. You know what's really sketchy? Guys who don't pay their debt, but have time to go on nature walks instead of making money. That seems really specific. Who are you talking about? Why am I not surprised that you've forgotten that you owe me money? Oh, right. I'm working on it. I've almost solved the case, and once I have, I can pay you back, somehow. I'm not sure how, but, Cat, stop talking. Get me my money, or I might have some friends pay you a visit. Are these friends the sort of friendly neighborhood kneecapping variety of friends? Or are they the sort that hides in the woods and practices weird sacrifices? Wouldn't you like to know? I think they missed out on a potential pun. They could have said he was bird watching because he's out here watching nature and he's a bird. But whatever.
Call
it's
me a
Courier
crazy
Man.
cat, but I'm beginning to see the tiniest inklings of a pattern here.
So, where do I know you from again? I'm the courier. Our speed is our service. Oh yes, the courier. What are you doing here in the middle of the forest? Let me guess. You have a package to deliver? A bloody package sent to be hand-delivered to your clients? Nope, I'm actually off work. That's even more suspicious. Why are you out here? I'm out here for a jog. I go jogging and hiking to make sure I can keep up at tip-top speed. And this is a nice place to get exercise. My only exercise is a few push-ups while I bury my face in a plate of food. No one needs to be out here to get in shape. I call shenanigans. No. Shenanigans is our rival company, Shenanigan Shipping. We're Vulpine Velocity Courier. Our speed is your service. Okay, so we're saying hello to everyone again, one by one, even people that have no real reason to be here. Flamingo Man.
What the... Is the entire city out here today? Is it National Take Your Suspicious Butt to Your Local Forest Day? Because if so, I'm sorry I missed it. I thought I had it on my calendar. It's my favorite stat holiday, after all.
Francois, what are you doing here? I'm working on my interpretive dance moves and trying not to be interrupted by annoying cats who show up in the middle of nowhere. Why are you in the middle of nowhere? Couldn't you do this in your studio? I'm connecting to nature, obviously. What's so weird about that? Other than the fact that you happen to be out here at the same time as a bunch of cultists? Nothing weird at all. Excuse me. Are you accusing me of something? Accusing? No. More like throwing something out in the vague hope that you'll break down and confess. I'm pretty sure that counts as accusing. Either that or... Oh, wait. Scram, cat. I've got to practice. You've given me the perfect idea for my next interpretive dance routine. The throw something out there in the vague hope you'll break down and confess dance. I'm glad to have helped. The only other people are Betty and the hippo, and I guess the elephant? Oh, and the crocodiles, yes.
I don't know what's weirder. How crowded the forest is getting. How everyone I know is out here picking berries or whatever. Or how somehow none of them have caved under my keen observation and skilled interrogation and immediately confessed to being a cultist.
How could they resist? It's inconceivable.
I've tried nothing, and I'm all out of ideas.
Alright, boys, come to order. This session of the Crocodile Tears annual general meeting is now in session. Is there any new business? I was wondering about instituting a casual Tuesday. What are you doing here? As if I don't already know. You again? Do you mind? We're in the middle of our annual general meeting, and we don't have time for distractions. We're here on business. I bet you are. Is that it? What do you mean? I stole your collar, remember? The one that you were trying to collect? Are you going to try and fight me for it, or steal it, or chase me down? We couldn't interrupt the meeting. That would be disruptive. I'll hand to you afterwards. How long will it take? Well, we've got a lot of admin to cover, so maybe 2 hours? One if we're lucky? I guess I'll start worrying about it then. Hey again. You told me I had to leave the bar to deal with some trouble the other gangs were stirring up. It turns out you were right. You did us a solid. That's good to know. I'm happy to help. I definitely wasn't just trying to get you out of the bar so I could talk to the sheep that you were tailing. The other gangs, are they here in the woods, or are you just getting a sense of who's working overtime? Nah, I don't get what you mean, but I suppose it's possible that they have their own annual general meetings. It's that time of year. Oi, I know you, don't I? You're the cat who scarpered with our collar. And now you want to take it back? No, doesn't bother me either way. I get paid all the same. I thought the collars were worth a lot. And you think that money goes to us instead of the boss? Yeah, right. I don't suppose you could tell me if you're in the forest for nefarious reasons. I do consider the annual general meeting pretty nefarious. Are you up to something illegal? We're gangsters. Everything we do is illegal. I did something illegal just by waking up and having my coffee. Could you just tell me if you're in league with a bunch of dangerous kooks and call it a day? Are you calling the Crocodile Tears a bunch of kooks? It's accurate, but never mind. Alas, no, it isn't our crocodilian friends.
Oh, for...
The
You've
bookstore
gotta be
people?
kidding me.
Alright everyone, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming to our Back to Nature book club meeting. Tonight we'll be discussing the beloved classic of Mice and More Mice. Oh, a visitor. Please pull up a seat. Don't tell anyone, but I haven't actually read the book. I knew it. A confession of guilt. What's your real reason for coming, if not to take part in the book club? I just asked my husband what it was about so I could answer questions and sound smart. Why else would you come to a book club? Hello again. Would you like to join our book club? No, I'd like to know the real reason that you're out here. We find there's nothing quite like reading books in the outdoors, in the middle of nature. Fresh air, lovely ambience. Getting bitten by mosquitoes? Yeah, I don't buy it. What's your real secret agenda for being out here? I suppose if we finish the book early, my real secret agenda might be having room for kicking off our reading of Snakes and Sensibility. Oh, are you here to join our first Back to Nature book club? Isn't it a marvelous idea? Not really, it sounds like the sort of weird cover story a bunch of cultists would come up with. That's actually the next book we're reading. Lord of the Butterflies. I can't wait. Yeah, I forgot about the book, people. There's still Betty, and there's still the hippo, and there's still the elephant. I mean, I think I see a yellow dot there. But it feels awfully far away, like I was supposed to spot something else first.
Gee, let me guess.
Oh no!
Bunch also has an incredibly convenient excuse for being out here.
Not our pig friend. I didn't expect to run into you out here. What are you doing out here? Truffle hunting. It's something the kids and I do together. It gets us out in the great outdoors and gives us a chance to bond as a family. I didn't know. In fact, I find it very interesting that you never mentioned this hobby before today. The day when certain parties are looking for excuses to be in this neck of the woods. Certain parties? Why, my kids love parties. I'm sure I would have told you about our tradition if at any time you'd asked me about the kids and what we've been up to. I don't think I've ever asked you about that, so yes. Okay. There's someone.
Please.
Oh, the
let
bar
this be
people.
The last time I bump into anyone suspicious that I know.
Stop. This is private party, cat. You are not allowed. Who has a private party in the middle of the woods? We do, you obnoxious mule's butt. I'm hosting a private drinking party as appreciation for my staff's hard work. We figured we wouldn't get interrupted by any annoying customers here, and I was clearly wrong. Well, I am a customer, but I'm not annoying, so aren't you lucky? Mind if I stick around for a bit? No, that's cool of you. That's not what I... Let him be, Sergey. Besides, what are you going to do? Stand menacingly in his path? You realize he can go around you here. And so I can. A party for your staff? That seems a little convenient. Are you kidding? How much of the pain in my rump are you going to be? I meant deciding to have it in the woods on this night in particular. It's interesting. So what? If I had it in a different part of the woods on a different day, would it have been boring? I guess I don't understand why you'd come all this way to drink and party. Mostly so that you wouldn't show up, but that's fallen through. You sure it's not because of some other private party that you're out here catering for? First, I'm a bartender, not a caterer. And that's food, not drink. Second, if I told you, it wouldn't be much of a private party, would it? How am I supposed to know about it? This kind of crap is the reason you're my least favorite customer. Cat? Bear? Could you give me the inside scoop on this whole party? It's a party in the woods and you're not welcome. I knew that, but it's the same as everywhere else. Perhaps you should take note and leave things alone. And what about Elmer? What are you doing here? Yes, I know that the cult is here, but I couldn't turn down the invite to this party. I really, really need a drink. Bad. Hick? Why do you need a drink bad? Take your pick. My apartment's got ransacked. I had to hand this collar that I was saving for my future over to the dumbest animal in the universe. I'm the one you gave it to. And if that weren't bad enough, after all this stuff about the cult and the guy in the closet and everything, my brother has gone back to his wife. I did see him with Mrs. G just a while ago. It was certainly a choice that he made. After all I did to keep him safe, to try and get us out of town, but no, God forbids, he has to learn how to wash his own wool. So here I am, getting drunk in the forest on cheap booze with a bunch of bar workers. If the cult wants to interrupt our company retreat, then good luck. This is a private party. You realize I was able to crash it in about 10 seconds flat, right? I guess you're right. If you can make it past Sergey, literally anyone could. Just be careful. Keep your eyes peeled. It isn't safe out here. We know there are cultists coming together to meet, and almost everyone could be one. Don't trust anyone. Not Sergey, not your brother, not even me. Don't worry, sweetheart. I never trust you anyway. Okay. But now I don't spot any little yellow dots to head towards. But there's something that looks like a building over there, which is interesting. Oh, is it Mr. Elephant? Mr. Rhino?
Oh, come on.
Yes! All of the police. Alright, everyone. Thank you for coming to the annual police department picnic. And thanks to Betty for putting it all together. Definitely a good use of my time as opposed to actually solving crime. If you pass her desk, give her a polite nod in recognition of her service. This picnic is about celebrating the hard work our department does. We were supposed to be working? And that's why today is all about us, the police. No party crashers, who think they can do our job better than we can, and think that they can just sneak up and eavesdrop. He's talking about you, Al. Oh. What are you doing in the forest? Which part of our department picnic that you weren't invited to didn't you understand? I think I've got a lead that will crack this case wide open. Are you still going on about that? The case is closed. No reward, no nothing. There's no reason for you to go skulking around. Certainly not on a day when we're enjoying ourselves in the woods. Completely innocently, without a suspicious possibility in the world. Betty, what are you doing here? Do you need your ears cleaned? It's our picnic. No, it isn't a good time to clean my ears. I don't have time to explain, but the woods are swarming with insane cultists. So far, the only insane thing is you. Betty, for once in my 9 lives, I'm being serious. Something's going on in this forest to do with whoever is behind the cat case. Well, I guess it's a good thing that we have our picnic today in the woods. Why? Because there's even more cover for the cultists being out here now? No, it means I'm around to keep an ear out. And it sounds like you might need all the help you can get. Thank you. Really, I mean it. Ugh, this is too close to being a moment. Go on, keep looking around. You're the cat who keeps getting their fur in a twist about the scene at the warehouse. You mean the scene where the cat that looked exactly like me, except for its shape, size, and swanky outfit, ended up dead? Yes, that one. I don't know why you were so bothered. I've been looking forward to the picnic. I could use some fun social downtime after working so hard. I saw how hard you work. I was awake and capable of conversation. I consider that a productive day. It's hard work having the memory of an elephant. It takes a lot of mental diligence to never forget. Who are you again? Okay. I genuinely think that is now literally everyone. I can't think of anyone.
Looks like a cabin.
Oh, the owl! Actually, it's the owl. We haven't seen the owl.
Exactly the kind of remote, secret location a cult needs for all its dark rituals.
There
Who
is
knows
someone.
what sort of diabolical scene I'll be walking in on. Okay. Significantly less diabolical than I
It's
expected.
a very well appointed cabin. It even has wallpaper.
But hang on. What is a cabin this nice doing out here? I thought the whole point of a cabin was to go back to nature, not whatever this is. Either someone's missed the point, possibly me, or something's up with this place. I'd better look around.
Okay, there are fancy lights.
Whoa, these wall lamps are really shoddily made.
Secret tunnel?
Fold over the second you touch them. Either that, or what are the chances a secret cult would be into that sort of thing, right? I wonder if there are any others.
Secret tunnel.
Open sesame.
Okay, the fireplace.
Wait, Open sesame? Sesame, would you please open? Ugh. No way I'll make it from the switch to the other side of the door, not without getting squished. Maybe I could brace the door open with something. I don't know. Eesh. This cult sure doesn't go much for convenience, does it?
But is there anything else that's even interactable? Maybe it matters which one I do last. There's also this pile of wood.
Ah, perfect. That should be sturdy enough to wedge the door open. Woo. Hope that'll hold. Guess it just needs to for another few seconds.
Okay. Caves. We're still in color mode.
Oh, hey. That's handy. A map of the evil kidnapping cult's lair.
Cemetery's lair, lab. Cat, bird, elephant. Right, left, left, right, left, right. Well, this feels like it's print screenable, so let's do that. Oop. Pretty please. Good. Now if I need that, I have it for later reference. And we can continue on.
See, there it is. Layer in big letters. Even have it underlined. How
No, they
thoughtful.
don't. It isn't
I
underlined.
guess that must be where the cultists gather. Let's not be there for the moment. What else is there? Oh,
Lab?
hey, it looks like we're close to all the animal cemeteries in the area. That's not creepy in the slightest. The elephant graveyard is near here. Huh. Hope they've got big holes and big shovels to dig 'em. Budgie burial grounds. For all the budgies and birds of a feather. I was there once. Mistook it for an all-you-can-eat buffet. And, of course, kitty for the dead. I'll be there one day. Not today, I hope. It seems this tunnel system links up with all the cemeteries around here, with different ways to get to each. I'm sure that's not in any way, shape, or form going to be important.
Useful information to remember.
Maybe I should explore for myself a little. Worst case, I can always check the map if I forget anything in 2 minutes or so.
Okay. So the way this says we want to go to our first right, which should go to the lab.
Oh, they got a cell down here too.
Oh.
Cozy. Everything a cult HQ needs for nefarious shenanigans.
You first. Who's there? How do you know my name? Mein Gott, you're grown, Albert. And you've started walking around on two paws. And wearing clothes and talking. You're not my Albert, are you? You're the Albert of this universe. I guess that makes sense. No, nothing is making sense right now. Let's get started with something I can make sense of. Who are you? I'm Erwin Schrödinger, a physicist specializing in quantum theory. And these are my cat, Niels, Werner, and Max. Bohr, De Waal, and Planck? Wait, that's not possible. You're on some sort of lecture trip abroad. Also, I'm fairly certain you're not weirdly pink and furless. That must be my counterpart in this universe. If there are multiple Alberts, there might be multiple Schrödingers. That was the name Mr. G mentioned. You were the one trapped in the closet, weren't you? Yes, that was me. His wife trapped me there after I arrived in your world. He found me and went for help, but his wife returned before he did. She and her cult friends brought me here, and I've been stuck here ever since. Save for when they forced me to work in their lab. Lab? Our world? What are you talking about? I'm not from your world. It's complicated to explain. I tried to tell Mr. G, but I don't think he understood. Well, if he didn't understand, then I'm in deep shit. Just try explaining it like I'm 5, because I am. Let's start with our world. What do you mean by our world? Well, in quantum theory, there is an idea of a multiverse. Multiple universes, existing simultaneously parallel to each other. At every point, a diversification can occur, creating a new universe. A multiverse is the quantum superposition with infinitely increasing divergent quantum worlds. I was with you up to RUC. Alright, the simple version is there are infinite worlds and infinite dimensions, each springing out of a different choice or outcome. Let's say you choose to have butter on your toast. For this morning instead of jam. There's a parallel world where instead you chose jam, and the rest of the day played out accordingly. The joke's on you. I had butter and jam on my toast. The point is that for every outcome, there is a world for it. And then there are worlds for outcomes within outcomes, diverging further and further and further. Some worlds would be identical to the ones you know, while others would be very, very different. To the point where they have animals that don't speak or wear clothes, or stand up like a human. What's a human? My point exactly. Your world doesn't have them, due to some difference earlier in our history. I am now here, alone, the only one. Both worlds have Schrödingers, and it seems Alberts, but they are different animals. Literally in some cases. Anyway, anything else that I could explain? What about the lab? You said the cult has you working in the lab. What does that mean? When I first arrived, I told the she-wolf what had happened and where I came from. I thought she could help, but instead she told me about her cult, and they got an idea. They thought that they could use me and my work to achieve their own evil ends, and so they locked me in here and made me work on their project. How long has that been going? Well, it's been going badly. None of them know anything about quantum physics or engineering. So they just threw me in and threatened me. At first, I refused. What was my life to stopping them anyway? But then they brought Niels and Max. I couldn't put them at risk. The weird-looking cats? They're threatening them? Yes. I designed something that helped them. But even then, they didn't know what I was doing, so I was able to work on something to help me escape. But more the fool me. They got tired of my delays and excuses and locked me up for good. And worse, I realized that I was only their backup plan. A backup plan for what? A rainy day? No, for finding all of my cats and collecting their collars to... Mein Gott, the collars! Tell me, are they safe? I know the cult recovered 3 of them, but what of mine and Albert's? How did you get here? Or scratch that, how did you get in her closet? Well, I was conducting an experiment involving atomic disruption and translocation. On second thought, considering no one else seems to be understand what I was testing, I'll keep it basic. I was working on an experimental machine and required a test subject. And considering that I'd already done some major thought experiments with cats, I figured it was only fitting to use one again. Did the cat agree? In our worlds, cats can barely agree to anything. But Albert, my Albert, eventually hopped in the box, and I activated the machine. When I opened it, he was gone, along with his collar. I had no idea where he'd gone or what had happened to him. So you stopped the experiment in its tracks so you could find my counterpart? No. In science, you must repeat experiments to ensure that the results are accurate. So I did it again with Max, Werner, and Neil. By the time I realized what was happening, that their collars had supercharged the machine to cause multiversal teleportation, all of them had vanished, and I was worried. So I attempted to follow them. You got in the multi-vagal teleprompter box? Yes, along with a collar to ensure the same traversal would occur. And so it did, but with some complications. One such complication was appearing in a certain apartment with a large implosion that took out the wall. So the holes that kept coming up were from you and your cats teleporting in? Yes. In my case, it caught the attention of the animal living there. She acted concerned, asked me what I was doing. And after I told her everything, she offered me some rather potent tea that put me to sleep. It sounds like you know the rest. Don't worry, the collars are safe, or at least 2 of them are. Thank goodness, I'm glad my friend Mr. G was able to take them somewhere safe. I have both of them. You what? You stupid cat, why would you bring them here? Don't you know what the cult is looking for them for? I don't know why they're so important, other than the whole I can teleport places thing. The experiment that sent the cats here supercharged the collars with... do you want the simple or accurate answer? Simple, 100%. The collars are charged with energy when they were transported to this world. They have the power to be in 2 places at once, as you've found out. If all 5 were in the same place, they would have enough combined energy to do that for places between worlds. To rip open the space-time fabric between them. Not simple enough. Is it good or bad? Very, very bad. It's one thing for a human or cat to come from one world to another, but an entire universe? I couldn't even guess at what might happen. One world crowding another out, both worlds being merged by force or both blinking out of existence. That does seem like something that should be avoided, which is why I gave my collar to Mr. G to keep away from the cult. Not bring it straight to them, Dummkopf. So what's the deal with the cats? For starters, they look different, small and naked. That's how they are in my world. In our world, they're small, adorable pets that live around humans as companions. Impossible! Surely with our intellect and manipulation skills, we'd be running the show and forcing other species to do our bidding. You aren't entirely wrong. Good. The idea of us being pets? We'd never have masters. We'd have staff. At any rate, well, 3, 4 with my Albert, they've been a big help to my work, keeping me company in the lab and so on. It was how I got the idea to try my new machine on them and see how it worked. I never thought it would react with their collars and send them here. Okay, ignoring the hissing, shrieking, clawing ethics of the whole situation, you teleported them here ahead of you? Then why did you arrive a month before they started showing up? Time moves differently between universes. What happened first can end up happening last, and this is the way it was with the cats and myself. I sent Albert, my Albert, through first, then Werner, Max, Niels, then I tried it myself. I was the one who got here first, then Niels, Max, and Werner were found in order, which only leaves my first cat, Albert. I heard something about him coming through, but they haven't brought him back. Do you know what's happened? Oh boy. Tell him about Albert. Well, about Albert. Do you know what's happened? Death happened. Albert is dead? My poor little guy. I'd assumed if the others survived, he would as well. You know what they say about assuming? It's something very rude about donkeys, which isn't nice. Some of my best friends are donkeys. But what happened to them? How did he end up dead? His body was found at a warehouse. No signs of foul play. Or foul play, for that matter. Just a big hole in the roof. No one knew who or what he was or what killed him. That was how I got involved in the case to begin with, trying to earn the reward, get to the bottom of things. Plus, you know, he looked a little bit like me. A hole in the roof? I wonder if the fall killed him. He might not have had time to land on his feet. Maybe the whole thing is just too much of a strain, and trauma for the poor boy. He was getting on in the years and didn't have the best heart. Yet you used him for your weird experiment? Well, it was mostly because he was already curled up inside the machine and didn't want to budge when I tried to get it started. So I just rolled with it. I gave up arguing with him years ago. Sounds like he didn't have the best heart or brain. No, that was my Albert for you. Fluffy, lovable, charming, and profoundly stupid. Why are you smirking wistfully at me like that? Just musing on the fates that led my Albert to his death but brought another one here to help. Let's hope you're a little smarter than the Albert from my world. So, what is the cult's goal? They must think you can help them. What's the goal of any cult? Fanaticism or fantasy? Fulfilling their fantasy and desire. They brought you here to do that? Did they arrange this whole thing with you and the teleporting cats? I don't think that they're that smart. My arriving was an accident. All they did was jump on the chance to capitalize it once they realized that I could help. Help them do what? What do they want? They wouldn't tell me. Other than claiming that reaching other worlds would help them become everything they were supposed to be. Couldn't they have just joined the army or something? At any rate, that's why they've been collecting all the collars. Bringing them together would allow them to rip apart the fabric of reality and reach other worlds. But in the meantime, they had me working on a little backup project that might get them there as well. Little did they know that it might get me out of here. Okay, never mind all the theoretical physics mumbo-jumbo. How do I get you out? The cultists keep the keys on them. Oh goody, I get to be a cat burglar. Funny story, as a kid I thought it was cat bugler? So I pestered my... Oh, bugler! A cat bugler. So I pestered my parents for a bugle, and... I have an easier idea. The backup project... It's actually a miniature teleporter, a small version of my original device. In theory, it could teleport a user to the same spot in another world. That's why the cult ordered me to work on it. Why not use it to get away? It's got to be better than this one, even if they do have smaller, dumber kiddies. Well, it's not finished yet. And I've been deliberately sabotaging and modifying it for local teleportation. To say, teleport me out of my cell. Also, it needs to be charged, and more specifically, charged with quantum particles that vibrate between realities. Like the ones in the collars? Exactly. And since you were stupid enough to bring the collars, well, that could actually have been a smart move. Smart move. Being smart in stupid ways is my calling card. Let's go to the lab. It's close to the cell. Once you're there, look for the mini teleporter and bring it here. What does it look like? You won't be able to miss it. You'd have to be an idiot to mistake it for anything else. That sounds totally promising and not like foreshadowing in any way. Hurry, the cultists might discover us at any moment. I'll be waiting here. Everything depends on you. I think you'll find I'm Prime Albert, the one and only original, and I'm about to prove it. Yeah, that one's the dead end, which means the other side is... Huh? The other side should be the lab. Or not? Ah, maybe C is for cell. Okay, in which case, this way is the lab. Yes.
Whoa. What is this place? What is all this stuff? Okay. Schrodinger said the mini teleporter was in this room. That even an idiot would know which one it is. And I'm no idiot, so, where should I start?
Is it the blinking box? The watch? The banana? I'm go with the box.
A big metal box. Wait, Didn't Schrodinger say something about his experiments and research involve cats in boxes or something? Well, this is a box, and boxes make for great teleporters for reasons. Ingenious, really. Yeah, this has gotta be it. Nothing else it could be, right? I bet Schrodinger's gonna be impressed.
We go back to the cell. Good news! I was able to find your teleporter. Thank goodness. Bring it here. Here it is. You were clever to disguise it as a box. I figured this had to be it. No, no, no. That was how I got the cats here, not how I was going to get them out. I don't know the ins and outs of your weird cat-in-a-box obsession. You do you. Somehow, somewhere, Einstein is laughing at me. I can feel it. The point is, no, that's not the teleporter. And you'd know that if you paid any attention. I figured it may or may not have been a teleporter, and no one would know until it was properly observed. Perhaps I was being hasty when I said even an idiot like you would recognize it. Either that, or you're a very profound idiot. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I never really understood, now that you say it. Aren't those two entirely different numbers? Profound idiot. Got it. Let's just hope that that was only a temporary snag. Try and find the actual teleporter this time. Okay, what do we got? Do we have to bring him everything? It looks like we're going to have to bring him everything one at a time. So let's try the watch.
Huh? It looks like an ordinary watch to me, but that must be its genius. He said it was a mini teleporter. How much more mini do you get than being on the back of your wrist? That guy is so smart. Okay, that last one was a bust, but this has definitely got to be the teleporter. I'm sure Schrodinger will agree.
Okay, is it the watch? Good news! I was able to find your teleporter. I trust you got the correct one this time. Absolutely. I recognized it as soon as I saw the watch. Excellent deductive reasoning. Except for the bit where you were wrong. This is an ordinary watch, idiot. Don't blame me. You're the one talking about weird stuff like reality and time being bendy-wendy. I figured that totally had to be a hint at watches and clocks. Unless I'm thinking of that one artist that does weird bendy watches and clock paintings. What was his name? Slavadog Dalmatian? I can't believe my life rests in your hands. Like your cats would recognize it. Trust me, you don't want to start comparing your intellect to that of my cats. I don't think you'd be flattered by the result. One more try. So it's the banana?
Why is there a banana in here? Seems kind of out of place, which clearly means it must be the mini teleporter. I bet there's all sorts of strange tech hidden within its mysterious rubbery yellow skin. All right, I got the last 2 wrong, but this time it's gotta be the one. 3rd time's the charm. Ow, that hurt. Didn't land on my feet that time, because something was under my feet. What did I trip on? Looks like some garbage just lying around. I guess Schrodinger isn't practicing good organization in the lab. Someone should call him on that. I'll bring this along so I can wave it in his face and scold him.
Okay, so we get it via cutscene as we try to exit for the 3rd time. Good news! I was able to find your teleporter. I can't bear another round of idiocy. Tell me you brought the actual teleporter. Absolutely. By process of elimination, I'm positively sure that there's a 75% chance that it is this banana. It was an amazingly intelligent move to hide the teleporter in a banana. How did you manage to get past the peel? What are you talking about? That's a banana! Yes, but that's the giveaway, isn't it? Why would something so odd and out of place as a banana be in a lab? You would never have food or drink in a lab. There's only one explanation. The cultists kept me fed while I worked, and that banana was my lunch. Okay, there's two explanations. Unbelievable. A lab with barely anything, and you still failed to find the one vital note. I'm tired, okay? I went through almost everything that there was, and there's barely anything left. I'm down to one last thing to check, and that's the garbage I tripped over. Garbage? What do you mean? This thing I tripped over on my way out. Don't you ever clean or organize your workspace? Do you just litter anything with broken or worthless on the ground? You stupid, beautiful cat. This is the teleporter. You found it. I did? Obviously I did. But are you sure? It looks kind of dead. It doesn't even turn on. That's because it hasn't been charged with quantum particles. And it's why I couldn't use it earlier. I was hoping for a chance to charge it with one of the collars that the cult has been keeping. But now that an adorable idiot has brought me his collar, like a good little kitty... I'm not that type of kitty. Oh wait, you mean Albert's collar. Sorry, I thought you meant something else. Touch his collar to the mini teleporter for a few moments. You should feel a slight tingle. Zap! Ow! My fur's all staticky. If it's ready, hand it through the bars. Make sure you're ready to run once I'm out. Mini T, a miracle in a small device. Achievement unlocked. Alright, I think it's got enough juice in it to get where it's going. Excellent. Pass it through the bars and I'll activate it. Niels, Max, Werner, come to me, my little ones. We're gonna get out of this nasty place and back home to a nice saucer of milk. Actually, Mr. Physicist, who apparently doesn't know his biology, most cats are lactose intolerant, and... he teleports away. I believe that this is worth an abracadabra. How did you teleport out of the cell? For now, at least, the teleporter will take me to the source of its quantum charge. In this case, your collar. I'm sure that it's shocking and confusing to you. No, not at all. Confusing, yes, but it sounds like it's just a small version of the IQ-0 machine that teleports me places. Could I look at it? I suppose you can if, wait, you've been teleporting yourself with Albert's collar, but how? It's a long story, lots of physics involved, which you'd probably dig, and the machine is a lot bigger than yours, it's more colourful too. Perhaps you can tell me about your own quantum spatial adventures, after we escape this cult. Follow me. I've wedged open the entrance to the tunnels. Once we're through and back in the cabin, we'll go get help. Alright, let me slip under first. Wait, why? I'm the one who's been captive for weeks. Surely I deserve to get out first. Yes, but consider my counter-argument. I don't like it and I want to leave. Fine, go ahead. Just be careful. The door is held open by sheer dumb luck. Given your presence, I figure we have plenty of that. Wait a minute. Okay, him and the cats. Now you're through and safely on the other side. Next up is... my cats. Come to me, my babies. Okay, everyone but me is safe. I think it's time for me to be safe as well. Werner, what are you doing? Stop scratching the wood. It's not a toy. Leave it alone. Stop batting it. Is it in your way? It is in a rather awkward place. Let me nudge it so that it's out of the way. Wait, no. Oh, not exactly my brightest moment. You idiot. I thought you were supposed to be the smart one. The one that knew about physics. Which part of things jammed in doorstops, door moving, did you miss in your education? I'm a theoretical physicist. Besides, it's really Werner's fault. We should have known anyone named after Heisenberg was going to be trouble. Whatever, there's a way to open the door on your side. Just flip the switches on the lamp thingies, on the walls. Explained like a professional. You're supposed to be the award-winning brainiac. In simple terms, flip 4 levers quickly, jam door open. Got it? Yes, except for the quickly bit. I'm not a cat like you, and I'm getting on in the years. There's no way that I could move that quickly. Oh, are you saying that I'm stuck in here? I could go get help. Who should I look for? Betty. Find Officer Betty. She's a dear friend of mine and a cop. I actually think she's a vaguely decent one. She should be able to help you and send backup. I understand. I take it if I don't see her, then any other police officers should be able to help? Should would be doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence. Very well, but what about you? What can we do to help you once I find help? The map on the wall showed that there were a bunch of cemeteries and graveyards. I think the tunnels link up with them. Tell Betty to bring help and meet me at the elephant graveyard, the bird burial grounds, or the cat cemetery. Be waiting for me at the kitty for the dead cemetery. I'll get there as soon as I can. I just have to memorize the route through the tunnels to reach the exit. Not just the tunnels out, you have to go straight through the cultists' meeting hole. And the cultists are still having their meeting. I know, that's why I told you to bring help and to be there waiting. I'm going to be coming in hot with a lot of cultists on my tail. Very well. I'll find your friend and make sure they bring backup. Before you go, I have a foolproof plan that you'll need to tell them. Hello, are you still there?
Crap. He left in a hurry. Sure hope it was because he was worried about me and wanted a rescue party put together quickly. Anyway, I guess I won't be getting out this way anytime soon.
You're at work? Being paid to watch me as a cat detective is winning at life? Glad to hear, Stefanos. Welcome, welcome, g'day, g'day.
Which means there's only one way to go.
Be supportive. Help the man. Okay. So. Time to go to the cultist lair, which should be turn right, and then forwards, and then left. And there should be a U-turn. This should be their lair.
All right, here we go. Into the lion's den, if there are any lions in the cult.
Uh-oh, it's the chief of police. It's one of everyone. The rhino, the bird, the zebra, the chief of police, and wolf lady. It's trying to be an old-timey film, Stefanos. Earlier it was also black and white. We've only gotten color now that we're in the forest. My brothers! We're approaching the dawning of a new age. Everything we have worked for is at hand.
Police was in on this. That's the least surprising thing I've learned all day, actually.
Yeah, it used to be all film noir, but now we have color. Hooray, at last! We're going to have everything we ever wanted. About time. I thought that fool Schrodinger was never going to finish the device. I guess we don't need it now. Now that we have all the collars, once we touch them together, it will open a rupture.
Just like Schrodinger was worried about. But hang on.
Not to be that cultist guy, but what do you mean all of the collars? There are 5, and it looks like we've still only got 3.
Someone else noticed it too. I was worried I'd screwed up the math.
An understandable error on your part. We have these 3, provided by my gang's contacts with the criminal underworld.
I can barely hear him. He's too small. Maybe if I lean in a little closer.
As for the last 2, we have them now as well, seeing as they're about to be hand-delivered. By the world's biggest moron. I told you the idiot would show up. This is, I can explain. I'm here to return Jimmy's hat. I found it in the woods while I was hiking, for legitimate reasons. I know it went missing earlier. Give it up. We know why you're here, and what you were eavesdropping on, and what you've got in your pockets. There's a lot of questionably grimy lint in these pockets, but please tell me I can hit him if he doesn't shut up. I'd support you hitting him even if he does. Shutting up right now. Or, not? What do I have to do to get not thumped? Oh, I think thumping will happen pretty definitely. But it might be more satisfying to watch after we've achieved our goal. For now, handcuff him and take his collars. Then shove him in the cell with Schrödinger. Wait, you knew I had the collars? Of course, you nincompoop. I was there in the room when you stole one of them from me, remember? Then why didn't you try and steal it back? Because you are what we in the organized crime business call a total moron. Why waste time and energy on you when you were going to end up bumbling your way into our claws eventually? Yeah, wouldn't have bothered casing Emma's place if I'd known she was going to hand hers over to you. If I'm such a moron, how did you know I wouldn't lose the collars or break them? Perhaps, but I pegged you pretty early on as having some sort of bone-deep stupidity that only screws yourself over and not anyone else. I beg to differ. You didn't see the state he left my bar in. Don't worry. Once we've accomplished our goal, you don't have to worry about the cat or your bar ever again. Which reminds me, what is your plan? I know it involves collars and multiverses and a bunch of stuff that Schrödinger explained and I ignored, but I don't know what you're actually trying to get out of all of this. How is messing with reality going to help you? Like we're dumb enough to tell you. Actually, our cult's charter specifically states that we must share our grand vision when asked in order to recruit new members. So I think we are legally obligated to tell him. That's ridiculous. Whoever wrote the charter is some idiot with no understanding of the law. Didn't you write the charter? Damn. Well, I did want more chance to practice my dramatic monologues. And maybe a chance to explain how ripping open the fabric of reality will make you rich? I was a bit unclear about that bit, but I figured it works out. You got the limited version. Wilde even for a cat. It was never about wealth or money. Wait, it wasn't? I thought we were going to get rich. Maybe I should have read the charter. Since our founding, we've always known that true power is beyond society's bounds and its ridiculous trappings. It is in nature. We have to get back to our roots. Be natural ourselves in our natural forms. Living as nature intended. Of course you don't understand it. You're a stupid cat in a dumb suit. But that's not what you're supposed to be, any more than I'm supposed to be working a day job and wearing a tie to keep my wife happy. I'm supposed to be 6,000 pounds of muscle, horns, and fury, while you're supposed to be a tiny four-legged furball, like the ones that came with Schrödinger. And now, thanks to him, we'll be able to be what we're supposed to be. Wait, what? You want to be like the animals of his world, but why? Society stinks. Mostly because it's filled with idiots like you. Not superior animals like us. We deserve better. But we didn't know what that was or how to get it. Until Schrödinger appeared in my room talking about the other realities. I knew this was the opportunity we were waiting for. So I captured him and told the others. I have to admit I got a bit hazy on things after that. Not sure about how turning into our natural selves will make us rich, but I'm pretty sure it is part of the plan. Right. The point is, we realized that the animals in Schrödinger's world are what our natural forms really are before we started walking and talking and paying taxes. And thus we knew what we had to do. Tear open our universe and rewrite it or leave it entirely for one where we can return to our natural forms and live the way that nature intended. That's your evil plan, your nefarious scheme? Ingenious, isn't it? What do you think? I'm sorry, were you expecting me to have another answer in mind? What's so stupid about it? Off the top of my head, it will destroy reality. And that's bad. Who cares? It won't be our problem. I'm certain that our universe ceasing to exist counts as your problem. No, because by then it will be your universe. We'll be somewhere better. And as long as that one doesn't get destroyed, it's all good. What if all the universes get destroyed? I'm just saying this plan of yours doesn't seem very well thought out. Or like anything resembling thought went into it. You've got some nerve saying that, considering that you're dumber than the cats Schrödinger brought with him. That may be true, but it seems like I'm smarter than all of you. We're not the ones outnumbered and trapped. Joe, Jimmy, grab him. Take the collars. Then he can go keep Schrödinger company. Music to my ears. Give it up. Wait, before you lock me up, there's something important I have to say. Mrs. G, bad news. I found out why your husband was hiding in his bedroom. He was getting his ducks in a row. I don't think we have any ducks, and certainly none of them went in to see him. I mean his divorce ducks. He's planning to divorce you. How could that be? After all the cleaning that I've done for him. I know. And now he's going to cut you loose and go on a date with another wolf in sheep's clothing. Not if I have anything to say about it. I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll save it for later. We have bigger things to worry about, and this is just distracting us. It sure is. Yoink! Looks like you forgot that as a cat, I'm good at 3 things. Being dumb, being distracting, and being dexterous. Okay, now I need to go right, right, left, left, right, left. He's getting away! He snatched the collars! Get him! Oh, I need to hit down. Sure. Yeah, we've got a slide function now. Right. Why didn't... I assure you I pressed right. If that does down, then why doesn't D do right? But whatever, we'll use arrow keys instead. So it's right, right... Left, left. Oh, come on, I hit left. Boo! Down. Right. Down. Right. I think it'll be like the blocking, where the answer is just mash it. Left. Left. Right, left. Okay. Quest complete. And now we're back in film noir mode.
I made it. The cat cemetery. Just where I thought. Now, let's hope I don't end up in one of these graves ahead of schedule.
Do I have control? Not as far as I can tell. Okay.
Oh boy. You sure caught up quick.
Give it up, Wilde. For the very last time, you're under arrest. Funny you say that, Chief. That was going to be my line. You're under arrest for conspiracy, theft, kidnapping, catnapping, cat slaughter, and attempted destruction of reality. What? There's no law for that last one? I should know, I'm a cop. Actually, reality has certain incidental properties. Thus, the destruction of that could be seen as the destruction of property. So, Schrödinger? For once, I'm glad to see someone smarter than me. You found Betty. Obviously, I'm here, aren't I? I'm thrilled to see you, Officer Betty. Glad to know you were worried about me being catnapped. But, what was that bit about cat slaughter? I'm fine. It wasn't for you, it was for my cat. Poor little Albert. And these jokers won't be hurting anyone else, cats or no cats. They won't be ripping apart reality and destroying space and time. Thank you, Albert. Don't make a thing of it, but I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm glad you're all right. Well, I think I lost some of my 9 lives, but I'll be fine. What took you so long? That was my fault. I thought we could use more help. I mean, that gets us to the reluctant tolerance. You'll have to do better than that if you want actual vague warm feelings. Elma, what are you doing here? Well, when a strange pink-skinned creature comes running through the woods yelling for help, you pay attention. And you definitely do when you realize it's the same guy your brother found. So I figured, I'm already involved, I might as well see it through to the end. I was lucky to meet both Betty and Elmer. I wasn't expecting Elmer to be related to the sheep who almost rescued me. He came to help too. I'm just glad to be able to help you and get free this time. Although I also came for another reason. Honey, I could forgive your crappy cud pies, your strange sense in decor, even your ballet budget. Even your habit of trapping interdimensional scientists in your closet. You could forgive that? But a cult bent on ripping apart reality? I'm sorry, but that's too far. I want a divorce. No, a devoted friend and partner who will weather any storm and clean the place up before going to jail, okay? See, I'm not the dumbest animal ever to live. I hate to admit it, but yes, my brother's got you beat. What's going on? Why is my husband being arrested? Don't make me have to read out the charges again. Joe was running with a bad crew. He was trying to unmake reality, so he could feel stronger. Poof, as if. You don't believe I'd do anything like that, would you, babe? I do. What? Take him away. I think it's time I enjoy the single life again. So you think? Nope. Where is he? Where is the damn bird? I'm gonna kill him. Oh boy. This shrub-binger guy told me how much grief you've given me. Not only did your cult screw up in the only way that the idiot would ever get money to pay me back. Oh, I forgot about that. But now this is going to be front page news and everyone's going to want to know about it. And I'll have to run the newsstand by myself. And if it wasn't bad enough, you lost your hat. You are fired. Fine, I was planning to land on your antlers and poop on you as soon as I got my natural form back anyway. But wait, even if Schrödinger found you all, how did you all get here? I drove them here, naturally. I heard the kerfuffle with your friend here looking for help. And when I heard you were in danger, I had to pitch in to save you. That's so nice. Oh wait, let me guess. I still have outstanding bills. You can't pay me if you're dead. Besides, I'm a lawyer, and it sounded like this bust would result in a lot of potential new clients. That it will. Perhaps a few of them will make use of your services while we finish booking them. And they arrested them delicately. That's the last of them. They'll be going away for a maximum time that the law allows, which is at least a few months. Betty, everyone, I don't know what to say, except I'm awesome. I think that all I have to say is that I'm awesome. In what universe? I guess we'll never know now that the boundaries of reality have been saved. I wouldn't say awesome, but kind of entertaining in a stupid way. Occasionally helpful. Tolerable in small doses. Giant pain in the... Oops, sorry, I can't hear you over the sound of my own awesomeness. Never mind, idiot. I've got to get the cultists back to the police station. What's next for the rest of you? I want to get back to my universe with my cats and the collars. They have to be destroyed so they can't be used like this again. But returning to my own dimension would require a more powerful machine. I don't know where I might find one. I know where. You do? Will wonders never cease? Could you take me there? I do, and by absolutely, I mean can hitch a ride there because I left my car back in the city. Loading epilogue.
There's something about the drive home after solving a case. You're tired, but triumphant. Drained, but delighted. Exhausted, but...
Oh my god, are you monologuing? Yes. Stop it. We have no time for it. We're almost at the end. You'll have plenty of time for it later.
End of what?
Don't mention it. Between you and Albert and the weird cult, I've had enough clients to put 10 more kids through college. Driving you is the least I could do. Speaking of the kids, sorry if the seats are uncomfortable. They left their toys all over, so if you feel something poking you in your butt, that's it. I think my cats have found them and are playing with them. They are adorable, aren't they? Are all the cats in your world so cute? They're way cuter than Albert here. Continuing the theme of speaking of your kids, where are they? You took them out to the woods for a family excursion, right? You didn't leave them there, did you? So I hope you two don't mind if I just drop you at the door and head back. I seem to have forgotten something important. Owlman, I saved Schrödinger and saved the world, multiple worlds. He did. I'm surprised as you are, but I'm not. Someone believes in me. You expected this buffoon to save the multiverse? How and why? Because he's Albert, and Albert always saves the day. Even the worst of them. That's me, I am sure. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with Albert. What do you mean Albert saves the day? Because that's what we do. That's why I am here. We? Who are you? Sorry for the disguise. I was under orders not to reveal myself until the situation was under control. That's why I wasn't very chatty. I didn't want you realizing your own voice. You're me! Like me, not the little kiddie version of me. Yes and no. I'm from a version of reality like yours where animals are intelligent, but unlike yours, one that included me. Perhaps proper introductions are in order. Like you, my name is Albert, but I'm also Albert 693. Nice to meet you properly, Albert 120,431. I've never seen such a handsome devil in all my life, except in the mirror. That's just the designation number of your reality. There are countless versions of reality, versions of people and of Alberts. We need to keep them straight. Fascinating. You're an Albert from another reality? What are you doing here, and why? I'm here to save you, Schrödinger 3, and to save this world, your world as well as every world. It's what the IQFA does. What the what does? I thought I heard a rude word. IQFA is short for the Quantum Investigation Federation of Alberts, an organization of Alberts from across realities dedicated to protecting them. When a reality is in danger, one of our agents, me in this case, uses one of our quantum teleporters to head into the field and deal with a situation. What kind of situation? Oh, all sorts. We track down and investigate quantum incursions across the multiverse, from minor incidents to existence-ending catastrophes. Oh, things like the cultist plan. Now I see. I don't see. Does this happen often? You have an entire organization dedicated to stopping multidimensional threats? How many of those are there? Countless. Just a few weeks ago, we had no less than 3 reality warpers and 2 potential interdimensional annihilation events. I probably would have slept easier not knowing this sort of thing is a constant risk. It's the nature of the beast, sadly. If there are infinite possibilities and universes, there are infinite opportunities for things to go wrong. It's not all catastrophes, though. Sometimes it's just petty crime, like interdimensional purse snatching. How does that even work? And sometimes innocent people and animals just end up stumbling into the wrong reality, and we have to help them get home. That is my favorite part of the job. I'm looking forwards to helping Schrödinger home. Why are you all Alberts? This is a cat bridge too far. But, Hachu, it explains why he wasn't in the forest, right? Because he's us. And cheers, VGF. Thanks, mate. So this entire organization of heroic, dashing, brilliant investigators is all just versions of me. I was wondering the same thing too. The story of how we are founded is a tale for another time. But as for why we recruited Alberts, well, such an imported cause required the best of the best. The creme de la creme, the pinnacle of perfection. I see where this is going. Well, actually, I have no idea where it's going, but I like it. Our studies have shown that Alberts in the multiverse are, on average, incredibly intelligent, quick-witted, fit, charismatic, and tenacious investigators. There is the odd universe with an exception. Lucky for you, you didn't end up in one. Good thing I happen to be all of those things, or you would have been screwed. Speaking of, what about Schrödinger's Albert? You say you saved our reality and saved Schrödinger, but you're forgetting what you didn't save, a poor little cat called Albert. It pains me to acknowledge that this big dumb cat called Albert has a point. Albert 3, we weren't able to save him. His death was a tragic accident, but not something any of us could have prevented. The implosions that occur when traveling from one world to another can be dangerous. Our organization's teleporters protect against it, but poor Albert only had a collar and a little colic. My poor boy. But you still have mine. That's quite the downgrade. Anyway, I'm sorry for your loss. He seemed like a good kitty. I would have probably executed Protocule L Quark for him if he'd survived. You didn't do anything. You say you came into this universe to help and do stuff and be a brilliant Agent Albert, but you didn't really do anything. I showed you how to use the collar and the Zero IQ machine, but you didn't exactly dive into the middle of things, did you? You just sat on your fake feathered butt while we did all the hard work. If you're really trying to save the world, why would you leave it in his paws? Normally I'd be in the thick of things, but Protocol L Quark involves lying low, observing, and keeping interaction to a minimum while evaluating a potential recruit. Keeping interaction to a minimum? You barely said 2 words to me. Couldn't you have... Wait, did you just say potential recruit? Protocol L Quark stands for the Quantum Local Albert Recruitment Crisis. It's an opportunity to see how the local Albert handles a quantum crisis. My job was to provide initial quantum support and technology, then serve as backup and as observation and evaluation on your performance, which I imagine was miserable and embarrassing enough to discount him from your recruitment. You have got to be kidding me. Why would you recruit this idiot to your ranks? Isn't it obvious? Because I'm the best! Didn't you get the memo? They only recruit the best of the best, the creme de la creme, and that's me. Well, that's besides the point. You see, you can't even say he's recruit material with a straight face. Yes, the Alberts we recruited so far are intelligent, skillful, and resourceful, but sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes the only thing that cracks a case is dumb luck, and that is something that we lack, because you can't get that kind of luck by being smart. In fact, being smart cancels it out. The only way to get dumb luck is to be the kind of profoundly dumb in the first place. Let me get this straight. You're hiring him because he's an idiot? So that you can call on his dumb luck to save the multiverse? That's about it. Woohoo! Yeah, in your strangely non-animal face. Who has 2 paws and has the best dumb luck ever? You do, as your performance in this place has clearly shown. Though I should point out, you actually have 4 paws. I think I'm ready to go home now. I don't want to spend another minute in a reality where this fluffy fool is our best hope for survival. If he joins us, that would be in every reality. I've changed my mind. I'm ready to leave reality altogether. Schrödinger number 3, I'll escort you back to your reality. The IQ-0 machine is ready. I've calibrated it to use the charge in the 5 collars to get you home. After that, it will self-destruct to prevent other incursions. Wait, so I won't be able to use it? You wouldn't without the collars, but no, everything will return to normal once I leave with Schrödinger. You'll need to decide before you go. Are you with us? Can we count on you to help us protect the multiverse? 2 weeks later.
Just another day in the city. My city. And this city never changes. That's just reality. Well, one reality, at least. This city is rotten to the core. It stinks like a warthog that's been wallowing in some suspicious brown mud left by an elephant. Someone's gotta clean up this city. I guess it's gotta be me. Who else could I trust to keep this city's butt clean and well licked?
Sorry, I tripped over a box. I'm not sure how it got there. I think you put it there. Yeah, geez, I've only been here less than a day, and already I'm getting as stupid as you are. Is that the last of the stuff from your desk? I take it you submitted your resignation? Does 2 middle hooves count as a resignation? More than they deserve, I think. Welcome to your new gig, partner. I'm already regretting my choices in life, and if I'm your partner, why isn't my name on the door? Well, see, when I think partner, I was thinking more along the lines of sidekick. Kind of the background support to my own personal magnificence. Bite me. Anyway, where's my office? I should put my stuff away. It's through the secret panel in the back, where I stash my litter box. This had better be worth it, Cat. You promised some cases that would make a world of difference.
This
Oh, there will
city
be.
never changes. Except when it does. shocking twist of logic, I know. I always worked as a lone cat, but lately, I've begun to realize the benefits of working as part of a team. Everything else might have gone back to normal after Schrodinger and the other Albert left, but that's one souvenir I'm gonna hang on to. Well, that and the other souvenir. The name's Albert Wilde. Private Eye. I solve the cases no one else wants, in this reality or the next. I'm not just cleaning up this city, I'm cleaning up
Every city.
Wait, that reminds me. I need a new mop and bucket. I'll have to go shopping later. Betty won't mind if I store it in her office. Anyway, I'm a new breed of kitty, catching the interdimensional rats of crime. I'm not just a PI. I'm Albert Wilde.
Quantum PI. Title drop right at the end. Oh, are you monologuing again? And it's now on his door as well. The end. Alright. Still a bit grungy for me in places. But the minigames, once you realize the answer is spam the control buttons, the minigames are fine. It had lots of nice, amusing dialogue. I'm okay enough with the story. I like the film noir setting. It's very different having the, actual super animal head as people, but they're 3D, compared to some of the things that are a bit more like this with the animal heads, where they're usually 2D, like Chicken Detectives or whatnot. Not the longest game. It's been, what? Maybe about 6 hours all up, but long enough. And, importantly, it leaves open the opportunity for sequels. Now that he's Quantum PI going all over the multiverse, there's every opportunity that we have more and future adventures as Albert Wilde. Alright. I think that's about it for the summary. I hope you had a nice time with this game. I had a nice enough time. It was good for some giggles. Good for a day's play. We will have to see if it does end up getting any prequels or sequels in the future. But for now, aside from seeing if there's anything in the end of the credits, that'll be it. No, it just jumps back to the main menu. Okay. Okay then. Cheers all. Cheers for watching.